That was Enzo. That wasn't me.
Enzo farts on camera. Dad's off camera.
Get comfy. All right.
I'm more comfy than you.
Yeah, we'll get that.
See how comfy I am?
You are.
Can you see me on your phone right now? Or are you just...
No,
Oh.
I just want to pull up before we get started. I took
Hi,
some
everyone.
pictures that I want to have.
I'm significantly more important than whatever he's saying about. I love secretly talking to the camera if you've ever watched Big Brother. Or when's that coming out, huh? Before or after
I'm
this?
still working on it after.
Well, you'll see. Pending.
That might adjust so much better than this one. Okay, that's all right.
Well, it's too late. I like this side. Enzo, too. Wow, he's gonna stink up my room so bad.
Okay. Cool.
Who watches this?
Well, hopefully your friends, because then they'll get into my
Oh my
podcast,
gosh.
and that's how I go viral, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm totally recommending this.
Liam's going to see it,
Yeah, he's going to want to see it, yeah.
and then he's going to recommend it.
To
He's going to mention
Ethan,
it.
yeah.
And then all it takes is one to, like,
I mean,
set
I
off
don't
the
know.
algorithm.
I don't know. Only if it's funny. I might get too sad.
If it's too I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, are your glasses going to glare?
Probably. I'm not that concerned about my eyes.
Good point.
You know we're already started, right?
Yes.
This is already
Dad,
happening.
it's red and blinking. I'm not stupid.
So I just want to say, like, to start off, just like, you and I have awesome conversations about the most random stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of, I'm hoping to capture that in this. So
Dad, how much of my lisp is coming up in the audio?
well, thank you for pointing that out. Now 100% of it.
Let me know in the comments how much of my lisp you can hear. Do they comment? Can they?
Yes.
Wow, I know so little. Maybe that's what this should be about.
What? Okay, start there.
I don't watch any of your podcasts. I feel a little bad now.
But you know YouTube better than I do. I mean,
Yeah.
you literally grew up on YouTube.
I did.
That's where these get posted. So, can you comment on YouTube?
Yeah, but I didn't know if you turned that off. You can do that on
Oh.
TikTok, right?
Right, I have it set so, like, if somebody comments, it comes to me, and then I approve whether it's gonna, like,
You approve them?
like, unwanted comments. I could, like, if I wanted to.
Isn't it only like family members that can see this though?
No, it's open to
Oh,
anybody.
it's public. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's why Liam would see it. Okay, I get it. I
Right.
get it now.
Right.
Wow, there's a blue dot on this microphone that is so distracting. It's all I can see.
Yeah. It's funny how, like, most people, I think, can just look away from it,
Okay.
right? And it would just disappear in the background. You know how, like, but you have, this is something we'll talk about, and maybe we have to get into it now. You tend to obsess on things.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
What do you want to do?
Move on.
Okay.
I can. I'm just probably gonna look at it.
That's fine. And the camera, okay, you're killing me already. This is going to be hard. Focus, Logan.
You know, it's kind of like
Okay,
like
time to go ahead.
breaking the third wall.
Explain.
Do you know what that is?
I do, but go ahead, explain.
It's like when like TV shows but the character will look at the camera, and then they'll go back to the conversation. Like that's gonna be me the whole time.
That's all right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. You want to get serious right off?
Get serious.
Okay, I'm going to read you something.
Okay. Oh, lyrics. Okay, I'm ready. Is that what we're starting with?
Why not? I figured this is as good a place to start as
If I don't
anywhere.
like them, Dad,
Oh, you guaranteed you will.
have I already known them, or is
Yes,
this new?
yes.
Oh,
But, okay.
is it one that I picked or you picked?
Let me just read them.
Okay, sorry.
Because there's others that will be more... But this one you're going to... Okay. I'm going to read the whole thing. Feel free to sing along if you want, but I'm reading them.
Okay.
Everything you own in a box to the left. In the closet, that's my stuff, yes. If I bought it, please don't touch. And I keep taking that mess, that's fine. But could you walk and talk at the same time? I don't know why you're laughing at this. These aren't funny lyrics. And it's my name on that tag. So remove your bags and let me call you a cab, standing in the front yard telling me how much I'm such a fool, talking about how I'll never ever find a man like you. You got me twisted. You must not know about me. I could have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute, baby.
Okay, pause. Guys, I'd like to let everyone know that when Dad and I do lyrics, they're significantly more meaningful than Beyoncé singing to the left, okay? That's borderline offensive to what we do. Picked Beyonce. That's why it was so funny. That's like such a goofy song.
I know. And I don't know if it's one you actually, I doubt you ever sent, maybe you did early on.
I definitely didn't. No.
Like early on when you were younger?
Well,
like when we first, so tell anybody, explain to somebody that doesn't know what we're even talking about, what you and I have done.
oh, well, I don't know how it started, to be honest. Do you
I don't
remember?
either. I tried to look, like 2013 was the first year.
That we did it?
I could be wrong on that, but I think so. I think it goes
Wow.
back that far.
Well, Dad and I were bonding over music, and then we would look into like lyrics, and then we would like evaluate them together, like ones that we didn't know, like one that I remember that really stood out, and when we started to like do more meaningful ones was the Hobo Johnson song.
That's on my list. We'll get to that later.
Is it really? Okay,
Yeah.
then I won't spoil it. But we would analyze them and then like find meetings and talk about like compare and contrast like the way that I view this song versus like what you viewed the song. I think is how I would explain it.
Right. And it started off with, well, it became almost a competition who could find the deeper meaning
Yeah.
lyrics, because you were kind of doing poetry at the time, right? But they we'd purposely like pick a section of the song, not the
Yeah.
whole song, and send it to each other.
Yeah, so we could read it individually and then we would debrief later, be like, those lyrics you sent.
Well, then we'd usually give a larger portion of the song.
Yeah, we'd let it
And-
play too.
And then we go to play, which was interesting, the different
Yeah.
levels.
Because I would read the lyrics and I'd think of how I would think it would sound. And then later we'd listen to it and I'd be like, whoa.
Right, sometimes it would be the opposite, and
Yeah.
sometimes it would be,
Not what I expected.
but sometimes it would be what you expected, but
Yeah.
so much more intense.
Better.
Right,
Usually.
like a Billie Eilish song. Right?
Yeah.
Like you read her lyrics and you kind of know they're from a dark place. Then you hear her voice. It's like, oh my gosh, this is selling it at a different level.
Yeah.
So let's go back. So the reason I picked Beyonce, okay?
Yeah, why?
Well, I wasn't expecting to get into the whole lyrics thing, which I guess by reading one it would. But I almost think that's kind of like, would you say that Beyonce, there's kind of like the first kind of music that you got into, like lyrics wise, besides just like singing along with a tune?
Oh, yeah. Beyonce. And definitely heavily influenced by Auntie Green.
Yep.
She was like, loved Beyonce. And I was like, I idolized her. So I was like, I love Beyonce too.
Right. Well, the reason I picked that is like, I think of that, or her album, that album that came from,
On
and
the
that
iPod.
song. Yeah. But I'm saying it's such an album about being a strong woman. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
as a father, when you kind of were getting into that, and that was like a first, like, how formative is music?
I'd say it's a pretty big impactful thing because, I mean, if you listen to it often enough, it's embedded into your head. I think Pink is also an artist like that I grew up on who is very empowering as a woman.
Right. And if you're listening to, like, I think about when I was in high school and it was gangster rap, but all females in that, it was just talking about bees here and bees there. You know what I mean? And like,
Oh, do we not cuss on
hoes.
this?
We can cuss all I want, but
I don't cuss. My grandmother watches this. I don't cuss.
Exactly. Right. Well, if it comes out, it comes out. But
I don't cuss.
but it wasn't the best images for women, right? And Beyonce,
Yeah.
I almost think, and Pink too, but I think almost Beyonce kind of like, as far as popularity, kind of broke that mold. And as a father, I like seeing that. Like you were seeing and reading, and you're first getting into lyrics, reading lyrics from a strong woman's perspective.
Yeah, so interesting that you thought of that.
So let's go to that song though. So what does that make you think? Like, what is
It's a guy who didn't prove himself worthy enough, so she kicked him out. And then she was like, I was giving you all this stuff. Well, it's mine still.
and I'm independent, self-sufficient.
Yeah, I can do it myself.
Even if the relationship meant a lot to me, I know you're replaceable, and I
Yeah.
know that I'm confident in myself.
To be fair, Beyonce is gorgeous. Let it be known.
I gotta point out that there was a little stretch when I first got these mics. Logan put on the headphones and we get into them. And can you do some of the voices?
I would just get really close to the mic,
Is it Ian?
and then I would move around, and I'd be like, "Hello, everyone," and I'd make other people listen to me while I did it. I'd be like, "Mom, listen, hello."
I wonder how this is all gonna sound.
No, probably really bad because I could hear myself, so I could. Ooh, is hitting the mic really
It
bad?
makes a little bonk.
Sorry, guys. My bad. Try not to do that again. Just keep my hands here.
Yeah, so the lyric thing is that's definitely a comeback. Do we want to go into lyrics right? Or we'll save it.
Well, I don't know what your plan is.
I don't know what my plan is either.
You didn't plan this out?
I mean, I have the list I sent you in 5 minutes.
His own daughter. He wouldn't even take a second to plan it out. It's written on a notepad.
Do you think you're Do you think you're on the path that Beyonce? What I'm suggesting? Do you think you're on that
Oh,
path?
a Beyonce? No.
No. I don't mean being a superstar.
No, I know what he means. I'm just
Okay.
I'm just pulling your leg.
You got me.
I wish I could be Beyonce. Anyways, being yeah, I could. I think I'm gonna set myself up to the point where I wouldn't be able to. I would rely on myself fully. I wouldn't need anyone, and if I needed to get out of a relationship, I would. No problem. Easy. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. As opposed to Disney princesses.
Oh,
You know what I mean? That are all like their goal is to get married.
nah.
You know what I mean? Or have kids or whatever. You know what I mean? For the most
happy
part.
ending.
And the male, yeah.
I'm willing to go through trials in my life. Is the thing is that like I'm not gonna just like settle and then like hope it works out. You know, I'll find my way, and I'm fine with having problems where I feel like Disney kind of glorifies life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think from my perspective, I think I want you to be a strong, independent young woman, and you absolutely seem like that on every level. And
Oh my gosh, Dad! I just like put my finger in my ear on camera.
you know, if you don't point it out, people won't notice. Now that Liam is hitting back 10 seconds to just rewatch that.
It was gross. Sorry, guys.
All right, so let's go. Now we're talking about me.
I hit the mic again. Sorry.
What would you do different if you were a parent? Just overall,
Oh.
like where did Dad go wrong? Because I want to point out, like I just said, I couldn't picture a daughter in a much better place. I couldn't be much more proud of a daughter. You know what I mean? Like you're in a place that like
Then
whatever
where
I
did-
did,
then
it
what-
ended up right. So
Yeah. Then what do you mean you went wrong?
I'm sure I went wrong in lots of places. So the results worked out. But like, what would you do differently? Kind of, if you have children someday.
If I was a dad.
However you want to take that statement.
Honestly, I'm going to ask you how to be a good parent when I am a parent. Because
Aw.
I have no idea. Cuz I know well, I know like as a family people get into arguments. It's unavoidable. Even when we get into arguments, like I would handle it probably better because I'm a great arguer. Anyways, but
You're too good.
I know.
Is that a problem? Have you? Let's go there before we get. You're a bit too good of an arguer.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that that's a problem? And when I say that, like, you're quick on your toes, you make good points.
smart people don't like it, which is the truth.
It's very true.
Also,
Do you count yourself as a smart person?
yes, only because I got a scholarship. And it boosted my ego. And now I'm like, ha ha, ha ha.
I feel like this whole podcast is gonna be full of just like inside jokes between you and I. Like, I know what you mean.
No one
but-
else does. Ha ha. You won't know. Might not even go.
You're getting to see the real Logie.
What were we
I
just
just called you
saying?
Logie. Sorry.
Loki's cute. I'm fine with that.
Just
people
not
watching.
Just not the M part. Togi.
Yeah, not there. What were we just talking about, Dad? I forgot.
We were talking about parenting, and then we jumped to
Arguing.
yeah.
Yeah, Dad and I, when we argue, sometimes I'm just like, this is going way too far for no reason.
I think you and I handle it. I think I'm gonna give you the props. I think you handle it better than just about anybody else in the family, especially with me.
We don't have many arguments though.
I don't think our arguments ever go too far. Like, or when they do, you're good at like knowing, okay, time to stop.
Yeah, but we have so many conversations, like so many, and like I'd say 1% we argue.
And
you know what I mean?
I do, and I think our conversations go to such a deep level. We're used to kind of like, well, have you thought of it this way? Have you thought of it this way?
Opinions, yeah.
But not even just different opinions, just like randomly just thinking, well, you haven't, what about this? And I haven't thought it through. You haven't thought it through. Like the lyrics,
yeah.
you know.
And I can see a lot of times when we're talking, like the wheels turning in our brains, like,
right.
Like evaluating it on the spot, like talking through it together.
I almost think that started from the lyric thing. And that, I don't even know how, like you said, I don't know how that started or where that started from. It was just like.
That was good.
Well, it was like one of those like opportunity came up. And it absolutely started with your interest in poetry, I think.
Wow, Dad, that was a brilliant connection. Did you think about that on your notes or is this coming up now?
This is all off the top of the head. My notes are very minimal.
That was amazing.
What's the connection? What do you mean? I don't even know the connection.
Poetry to lyrics to our discussions and how well they go. That's pretty. I think that's accurate, and I never thought about that.
Well, it's definitely how it happened. Like you were getting into poetry and you were writing some pretty impressive stuff, which I have some in here.
Oh my gosh, how?
Oh, I have emails. I've been trying to.
How?
But you were starting to show interest in that, and then I'd show you something back.
I'm not over that. I'm terrified.
No, I wouldn't read like a whole.
Oh, do it.
What was the one that you have? Do you remember your apology one that were all crossed out?
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. Oh yeah, that one was.
She had I have it here, but I'm.
Do you really?
Yeah, but
wow, how?
I mean, after a while, you wouldn't share them, and then when you share them with me, I'd like either take a screenshot or like copy them and and then transcribe them into Google so I have them.
I don't have these.
But she had one. You had one that you had. I apologize for this. It was like 20 lines of apologies, right? Like, I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for this. And then they were all crossed out. And you get to the last one. It was something like, but remind me again why I'm the one apologizing.
Yeah. I was a very, very, very interesting child. I got the idea of crossing it out from a book of like, in the book that, I don't remember what book, but they would write stuff and then they'd cross it out. It was almost like as they were writing, they would cross certain words out and like change them, almost like an unedited book. And I liked that idea, and then I put that into a poem that I wrote.
And that was less poetry form. It was just interesting. Like the meaning behind it was really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, there is points in relationships where you're just the one that's apologizing all the time.
But then it's victim blaming, kind of like where the person starts victim blaming and like making them seem like the victim, and then you're apologizing, but then you realize, wait, I'm the one who was hurt in the situation and you're just pretending to be the victim and making me feel bad. But you're the one who hurt me. And I think that's what probably started that poem. And
it doesn't even have to be hurt. Like it can just be like you're constantly just trying to make the other person happy. So I'm sorry. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, you know what? If I'm apologizing all the time, maybe this isn't the right thing for me.
Yeah, I've definitely tried to stop. Like when people tell me they're sad, I've consciously tried to not say I'm sorry, because just saying it puts the blame on me. So if someone's like, I had a really bad day, I won't say I'm sorry. I'll like try to help them in a different way, because I figured out that like takes away from the meaning I'm sorry, because when I say I'm sorry, I want someone to understand that I'm consciously like saying that I did something wrong and I know it hurt them, and you know what I mean?
I do. Wow. So that's a really interesting point you just brought up right there. I think that like if you're having a bad day and I say I'm sorry, you're right. You're right. You're kind of like accepting some kind of blame. But what are you? If you do say that, what are you sorry about? Like, why
I'm
even
not.
say that?
That's why I've consciously stopped saying it, and I've just approached it differently and comfort them in a better way. And I think they've been receiving it a lot better, because when I say, "Oh, I had a bad day," and people are like, "I'm sorry," it's like kind of passive. It's just like, something you
Right.
can just like say and it be done.
Well, for me, just thinking about that, like off the top of my head, it's such an unmeaningful when it's used. It's just like you
Yeah.
said, it's a brush off. There's no meaning behind that. It's such an empty word,
Yeah.
and I find that annoying.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I know
Like
you do.
aggressively annoying. That's why I stopped.
Right. But okay, so the larger thing I think I want. So I think this is one of you wrote some really deep kind of poems, and this came off early. This poem that we're talking about, to me, it's some extremely deep insight from somebody that was, let's say, 10 at the time.
Yes.
Do you think when you wrote something like that, were you thinking that, and I already know the answer, but do you think your 10-year-old mind or whatever age you were at was actually thinking that deep?
I know you want me to say no, but I'm gonna say yes.
No, I know you're going to say yes.
Oh,
Because we debated other poems at that time, and I was always like, did she just,
wait.
Psst, go ahead. Yeah, can the mics pick up Enzo snoring?
Wait. Everybody be quiet. Let me hear him snore. Yes. Sorry,
wait a sec.
guys.
I'm going to take a picture right now of Enzo, and then I'll post it in the video. So here's our little setup.
You're on video.
Oh, yes. Photo. Boom. Okay, so you can know so you should be seeing a little picture somewhere, probably right in here.
Better be. It better not cover my face.
I won't cover your face.
Enzo!
No, don't. He's comfy.
I love you. I don't want him to snore. It's distracting. Dad, it's like the blue light.
There's no way that shows up on the camera, on the phone. On the
I
mics.
literally saw it.
Oh, well, that's because there's no other noise. Okay, back to what we were
What
saying.
were we saying?
So I was saying, like,
Sorry.
how were you able? Do you think your 10-year-old mind could? And the reason I could your 10-year-old mind, I know, was thinking that deeply is because your other poems, I'd read them and it'd be like, oh my gosh, this is what this means to me. It's so deep. Like, where the hell did this come from? And then I talk to you, and maybe you're thinking a different thing, but you were thinking equally as deep. Like, those words meant something to you. You weren't just, even though that one's a good example of just visually it's interesting and it says something, just looking at the piece of paper, you kind of skip down to the end and like, oh, damn. You definitely were thinking out that deep.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, my 10-year-old self was not going through that much, but, like, I mean, homework was probably my biggest challenge. So, but I loved, like, like movies or something that would give me, like, an idea, and then I would, like, write about it. But, like, the whole being...
Jeez, I just burped.
Dad,
Don't even
you've
go
been
there.
farting, you've been burping. Are you cutting this out? Are you
No.
editing this out?
No.
Disgusting. Anyways, I'm done
So
talking.
so let's talk. So early on, you struggle with reading.
Oh, so bad.
I want to talk about the reading and then the jump to poetry, which is English language. But since it came to mind, let's talk about that experience. Like talk me through like what that was like for you. Like,
The
really.
reading room?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so like first they would bring me out of class, and then I would have to go early in the morning, and then
Well, do you remember at all, like first finding out that was something? Like, I have to go to the reading room, or like your first thoughts of like,
no, the first
like
time
did you realize before that all started that you were having problems with reading compared to your? I know I'm asking you to remember way back.
No, the first time I remember ever feeling like, oh, I'm stupid, was there. I
okay, I'm
I
sorry,
wasn't
I took-
stupid. I shouldn't say that.
No,
when I was
but,
behind.
But I mean, no, I think you said a real thing there. Like, because your reading wasn't fast,
Or very accurate.
you felt stupid, which the school supported you feeling stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say
But
that's
it was
accurate?
worse.
Go
So
ahead.
they had like totes of books and they would fill them, but they were by level of how well you read. And I grabbed one from a bin that was my bin. Like it was in the number that they gave me. And then someone else, I don't remember who, said something really offensive now. Like I can't even believe it, but they said you're grabbing a book from the same place that a person who either struggled with like autism or something reads from. And that was the first time I was like, oh, like, not that more that they were ahead of me, not that I was, do you know what I mean?
I do.
That was the first time I was ever like, whoa. Also, when they would bring me in like the white room, the white like trailers.
Right. The portables.
Yeah, that was also a very big realization when I was like not in like a classroom setting anymore. But mostly the totes that had levels on them.
Right. We talked about parenting mistakes. Like, I don't know how, I mean, we definitely like read to you and did things like that with you early on. And I don't know how, like in the end, I think you're actually a really good, exceptionally good reader.
Amazing.
You're not the fastest reader.
I am.
You're not. Like you said, saying that. We
I
talk
am.
about this.
I am.
Okay, be serious.
I am.
Okay. But I think, I don't know. Like, do you think pushing you harder earlier on would have made a difference
Pushing me harder?
in reading?
No. I think it would have made it so much worse. I would have hated it so much that I would never have gotten there on my own. Like, wanted to do it on my own. Because Kaylin also talks about them forcing her to read books made her hate reading books. Because,
And I know you feel that way about speech class and things like that.
But that's trauma.
Right. And we'll go there in a little bit, but
We will? Oh, wow.
if we want to. But yeah, it's interesting that if you push something on a kid. No, do you think if the topics were more of your interest?
Wait, pause. Did I say autistic kid or someone with autism? Because I'd like to edit it to being someone with autism.
Noted.
Thank you. It's more appropriate.
No, I agree. I think that what is the distinction?
Well, the kid is more than just autistic. It's just a part of him or her. It was him. It was him at the time. I remember who they were comparing it to.
Right.
But a kid who has autism is nicer than saying autistic kid because it's just putting them in a box.
No, the reason I ask you that is because I love the way your mind thinks and how considerate you are at a level that I don't think most people do.
I have no idea what we were talking about before this, though. My brain was just thinking about that.
It's funny, like this camera is so distracting to you. Like every time you look to the camera and look back,
There's a new thought.
we're talking. I'm definitely in the same boat. But we were talking about ADD and we were talking about.
We did?
No, we weren't.
Are you telling me
had that in
I'm
my head.
ADD?
No. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Can she pull it off? The drink, not hit the mic. This is the most ridiculous podcast I've ever done.
The most interesting.
But my favorite already.
I can tell. I'm so interesting. I'm so funny. Like,
We were talking about the reading room.
oh, right.
So
Terrible place.
So yeah,
And terrible people. That's mean. That's mean.
so if the
That's
books
mean.
were more of your, do you think that, like, if the school had picked a book that was more something you were interested in, would that have made a difference at that point?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. Because they would time me. They would make me read. They would make me feel stupid when I couldn't sound out words right. Or so I was already mad. There was no turning back after that. I didn't want to engage in books that sound interested, and ones that I did at the time. I would just look at the pictures, or like, I don't know, or I would just like skim through it and pretend like I was reading, you know.
What do you think? I mean, I know you don't have the answers to this, but like, what do you think a school should do? Because they need you to read.
Yeah. Don't time the kids.
But that's a big thing. Like,
It doesn't matter. People who are good readers are slow readers too.
I-
People who are so smart can be really slow readers. It shouldn't have never mattered at all.
I couldn't agree more. And I also think there's a point where like where you I know for me like there was a point where I was at the right age, right time, found the right book, and then it was like, oh, I figured reading out.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I think so. I mean, you have to learn the mechanics of reading. But I agree
Yeah.
that the speed that you read, even though techniques to read faster should be taught, right?
Yeah, but not for someone
But
who's
not
already behind.
but not forced. I'm saying
Yeah.
like, oh, have you thought about not pronounce like don't mouth the words or whatever the technique
Yeah.
is to like do a little faster and suggest that and recommend that.
But I also think it can be like self-taught unintentionally because when your brain is reading so fast, your mouth won't keep up.
Right. Right.
Learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I'll have to do one of these with Shayna and Melissa and some other.
Oh, the
To
smarter people.
No, but they're professionals.
Oh, right. To ask them like what they should think they should do.
Right.
I think Shayna would know more than Melissa.
Right. I mean, this is Shayna's literally specialty as far as
Really?
I know. I think so. Yeah, but I think
Does Shayna watch this?
maybe
Shayna,
Josh probably will,
Josh,
and then he'll recommend.
whoever's asking, whoever's here, please call. What's it called when you? Specify what your job is, because I know you work with kids, but specify specifically. And this is to Shayna. Okay.
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 Yeah, I think, but I know at the time Shayna was. Oh, I almost was gonna say she was big into the literacy, like the timing and speed and stuff, but maybe she wasn't so into that. But that's what the schools are. I don't remember.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Well, but it is interesting that kind of pushing kids.
Oh my gosh! And we would do it out in the hall, so people would walk by, and I'd be like, it was so panic-inducing. And then they'd be like, okay, stop, and you would be like halfway through the passage, and you're like, there was a continue page.
I mean, from a parent's perspective and just my own perspective on kind of like life wise, like I think about we need to all work on our weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
You know, we don't need to work on our strengths. But I'm looking at a young kid at your age, at that age, and you're pushing them, you can cause so much more detriment.
Oh yeah, there's a fine line between like helping and trauma.
Right. Well, since you brought up trauma, let's talk about speeches. I wasn't going to go there, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
So,
Maybe Ethan should watch this so he doesn't look at me weird when I tell him I'm not doing a speech. I'm not helping him in a group project.
I mean, okay, so confession time.
Oh.
Ding, ding, ding. I should have a sound for confession time.
Am I a priest? Okay. Go ahead.
No.
Confessional.
No, so I do feel, I mean, I look back, like I've made my mistake as a parent, and that's definitely one I mean, a lot of things, like you're just doing the best with what you have at the time.
I don't think you understood though, which is why you made.
Well, it goes to like, we need to work on our weaknesses. And I mean, I firmly believe that there's reward of overcoming a challenge.
Yes, indeed. Katahdin was a great example of that. Is that on your list?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
But there's a point where you can push too far, and then it goes the other way, right?
Yes.
And speech, I didn't realize. I figured it was a hurdle you could overcome, and it ended up being.
You didn't realize it was spiraling the other way.
And how much trauma I caused you as a kid, and I very much apologize to you. I know I have before, but no, it was something I definitely pushed too hard. The schools definitely pushed too hard. They're not
Very
aware.
good at it too. At like helping people who are scared.
So what are give me your overall thoughts on speech, what it did to you?
Wait.
What you think should be.
Do you think me crossing my arms is too like defensive?
No.
Do I look too defensive? Should I relax?
It's okay if you're defensive.
I am defensive. It's trauma. What did you ask?
Speech class. Tell me your thoughts on everything.
From the beginning or like actual speech class?
Or what it was like for you and
Ugh. Well, I remember the first speech I ever did.
Okay.
And I was like little, and the podium was made out of cardboard. And I told the teacher, no, I'm not gonna. And she was like, yes, you are. Yeah, you are. And I cried. And then she made me do it. And I did it. And it was like about myself or something. Sorry. Anyways, and terrible experience. But then,
Do you think you were alone in that? Because I think that's an interesting question, right? Like, were other girls, boys, other students having a similar kind of thing?
I don't remember anyone crying like I did, but also we were talking about ourselves. So at the time, I think every kid like loved talking about themselves, but I hated it. I hated all of it.
Well, the reason I ask you is because, I mean, a lot of times we think we're the only ones dealing with it, right?
Yeah.
And we don't even notice that, like, literally every other student in the class is having some kind of anxiety or whatever.
Yes.
So,
I definitely noticed it later more, like in like the older grades. But back then, the memories are so like
right.
I couldn't remember other students. I just remember my own
Right.
experiences. But like I remember the most recent one that I did before I was like, I'm done. Mark had gone up and he was even worse than me, and that was the first time I was like, I'm really not alone in this, and I'm sick of it and I'm done with it.
Right. Do you think there's value in being able to do that?
Do what?
Give a speech of some sort.
No.
You don't have to do this.
I know, but I want to aggressively enunciate.
Gotcha.
No. Because I think any skill like that can be learned through having a job cashiering or having to do an interview or you know what I mean? There's so many other ways to learn it, and I can do all of my daily tasks. I have a job. Like I can do everything else, but something about standing in front of a class and talking is something I can't do. And people love it. Like some people want to. And like I don't know, then do it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what would the alternative be, but
I mean, I have some ideas on the alternative, but as far as the speech itself, I was just thinking when you're talking, like what jobs does a speech like that actually,
presidential or governmental.
or a minister,
Yeah.
right? A formal speech. There's very few spots.
And if you want to do that, you better be real confident and you better work on it. But I think wouldn't you work on that in college? No.
Well, I mean, anything like that starts somewhere, right?
Right.
I mean, and how do you know you like it or don't like it? I honestly think, to be honest with you, just largely school kind of picture thing. I mean, I think I've told you this before. Like the Soviet, from what I've heard from like in the Soviet Union, Lex Friedman, who I listen to, points out he grew up in the Soviet Union briefly.
Did
I'm
he?
gonna get to
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
for like his first 15 years of his life or 10
Wow.
years or something. But the Soviet Union grabs people with talent and then puts them on that path. Things that they like. If you like something and you're good at it, they'll start to put you on that path.
Good idea.
Where our system tends to force you into all these different things, which we want a well-rounded education. It's so hard to focus. Sorry. Drink break. That's the sounds of Logan drinking.
I was thirsty. And the story was kind of boring. Go ahead.
But but to your point, so like, let me say, kids could in school could try speeches, and the ones that do well at it, the ones that don't seem to mind it, let them keep doing that as part of their grade, as instead of writing an exam, which they might not be good at writing papers, let's say, they could kind of do it more in that format. The ones that are good at, and the ones that don't, that are really pulled away from it, really shouldn't be pushed to do that. Like you said, I think you just made a great point. If you have a job that you have to speak to somebody, you'll learn that job.
Yeah.
And it does, like, you work at Walgreens. Have you ever associated talking to customers with a speech?
No, because it's not even close. And it's all personal. I'm like personally talking to someone. It's so much easier And I've never had to like present anything.
But if you had, let's say, 3 new employees were hired, and you had to teach them how to do something, and you had like, okay, Logan, take them in the back room and teach them how to do that. Would you
Easy.
even?
Easy. Not even a question in my mind. Not even nervous because I don't know what the difference is in my mind. Right now, my lisp is really bad.
It's not.
I
And
can hear it.
you have Invisaligns, which is pretty cool. I hope you don't mind that I brought that up. But that's the
Why
only
would
reason.
I mind?
Well, it's the reason you have a very minor lisp that
Sometimes
nobody would notice.
it's just really hard to say stuff. I'm like, la, 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 la.
But yeah, you can see the similarity. Like you're in front of a room of people and you're teaching them how to do something, which is technically the same thing as a speech, right?
Yeah.
Different, but one is traumatic and one isn't. But one, you didn't have to be. The speech class would not have helped you at all, in any way.
No.
So I think you make a great point that it really is a useless thing for somebody that's
Gonna be hurt so much by it.
right. And you could readdress it like in high school. Okay, do you want to give a speech? You want to try? It's worth this grade. You can do and some kids that didn't want to try it before might want to try it later.
Maybe be like, hey, you can try it and I'll give you like an extra credit. I mean, like 5 points or something.
I do think is there any value. So let's say group work or whatever, and you have somebody that gives a speech and you're just up there kind of like helping
Standing
present.
there.
Is there any value in that?
That's actually what I'm going to be doing the next
No, I know. That's what made me think of it.
value. What do you mean?
Is there any value in just standing up in front of the class?
No.
Huh.
I will be panicking the whole time, and it won't make me feel good. No, I'm terrified. And I'm thinking about just being absent that day, but no.
No, I'm with you on the speech thing.
He wasn't at first. Let that be known.
I wasn't. Yeah, well,
Rude.
I apologized. I thought you accepted. Did you? You didn't say you accept. I want it on the record. Do you accept my apology?
I accept it now, but I'm not over it. It's trauma.
No, I know. Yeah. I thought, I mean, at the time, I mean, I do firmly believe that the more you overcome things that are hard, it makes you better.
I know.
But then there's things that you just don't have to overcome.
Yeah.
Like I ran a marathon. It's hard. Doesn't mean you need to run a marathon.
No. And I probably won't.
Right. But you'll have your own battles, ones that
Yeah.
you find interesting. And I do think.
Embroidery. Sorry.
There you go. Right.
Someone's going to get that reference eventually after Christmas.
And maybe Auntie Jackie knitting. We got to make that happen. Okay.
We really do. I
Oh,
love getting off
shoot.
task. What?
Oh, man. So the next thing I have on my list, and I feel bad kind of going right after Aunt Jackie
Why?
because it's religion.
Oh, because she's really religious?
Yeah.
Well, I think she realizes other religions exist.
Yes. So
Does she
I don't know. We
off
should,
record? Does she
off record as she
Off-
speaks into the mic.
off
This
record?
is we have 2 mics in front of our faces. It's all on record.
Okay, we'll cut this part out. Does she not accept other religions?
I don't know.
Does
I'm not
she-
going to speak for Jackie.
Fair.
So
That can be on record.
it was going to be no matter what.
Oh, no cutting it out?
There's no cutting.
Really? No cuts in all
I
of
mean,
your
if you
videos?
get up and go to the bathroom, I might cut that little chunk out. but
Okay.
I want the real Logan. I don't want people thinking, "Oh, I'm just taking the best parts of
You
Logan."
got all my drinking in there?
That's right. Yeah. We're gonna count the taps, so I'll have a little tally of how many times Logan taps the mic while drinking, and even your drinking sounds.
Ew.
No, I don't think any came through.
Want to
No,
test?
actually, I want to go someplace else next.
I was so ready for religion.
Okay,
You
let's
got
do.
me all on
Okay,
it.
let's do religion.
Whatever you want.
When I say religion, take it where you want.
Atheist.
Is atheist a religion?
No.
So then, when I say religion, why are you saying atheist?
It's the neglection of religion.
Okay, so
Is that the right word I wanted to say?
I don't think so.
Let me rephrase.
Absence of religion.
The rejection of religion.
Oh. See, I was just going to say,
Period.
okay, that's an interesting phrase you just said. So,
But acceptance. Oop. Acceptance.
I said absence of religion. You said rejection.
Yeah, because I was religious and
No,
I reject it now.
but the difference between absence and rejection. One is just
Not having it.
I don't think it's right, and the other is like an aggressive thing.
Yes. Aggressively. But
Why?
does Grampy watch this?
They're all probably gonna watch this.
Let me talk to Grampy for a minute. I respect you and your religion so much. So take everything with what I say with a grain of salt and do not be offended and don't hate me. All right.
Well, I want to point out that I look back at my teenage self,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize how little I knew. I thought I had things figured out, and I didn't realize
About religion?
Life.
Oh.
I think it's a common thing. I think teenagers think they've got it figured out.
Do you think I got it figured out?
Not at all. And I think
Cool.
someday you'll look back at this, and whether it's religion or whatever,
Ooh.
you'll look back at this and realize, oh, I didn't know squat then.
How annoying I am. Yeah, that's what I'm
But I also think I haven't changed that much since that person in a lot of ways.
Oh.
I'm still me. I still think the same way, but like I've been introduced to more. I've learned more.
Hear the pops in my neck. Okay, keep going.
So how did keeping her on task is a challenge, and normally that is not the case.
Well, it's been
but we are bouncing around with things.
Well, I just had a 6-hour shift, so I'm a bit.
So how did you end up coming by this line of thinking?
Oh my gosh, can I blame it all on you?
Absolutely.
Grampy, you're gonna be so disappointed. All right, let's go back to the beginning. So, didn't we start when I first when I was born? Right, and we went to church at Grampy's church, and we did ministering with him.
Yes.
Yeah, and then nothing else.
Okay.
I don't remember ever going to church outside of Grampy's church.
Right. I mean, we obviously went to some here and there, but not many.
But by then, I had just not thought about it for long enough. That the only time I ever reconnected with it was let me finish. Was dinner prayer. You know, and then I went to someone else's church. Dad, stop burping.
I don't know why I'm burping today. I need a burp button. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I went to a friend's church and I hated it, which is not Methodist, Grampy. What was it?
I don't know.
It's a church that Molly goes to.
Baptist?
Used to. No. Yes, Baptist. And we watched. Anyways, I hated it.
Do you remember what you hated about it?
I hated all of it. I hated the ministering. Enzo's so loud. You think you can't pick that up?
It's funny. It's not distracting from our words.
Is it? It's distracting. Anyways, I just don't really. It just seems all you know how some things are just you think they're all for the money. That church was definitely all for the money.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
But then I went to a religions class, and then I learned a lot about religion, and then.
But you had already kind of thought religious class is current, right?
Yeah.
This year. So I mean, you already kind of got there before this year.
Yes.
So I definitely want to get into the religious class, but what are your, what got you thinking?
It just seemed all too fake. You know how, the Scientology religion started off of fantasy books?
Yes.
That's how I feel about Christianity. Boom.
Do you want me to try to throw shade on you?
Do it.
Because this is what Logan and I do.
Of course.
So it's a book that was published or written, a long, long time ago, let's just say.
Yes.
And not too many things can you point out in it that aren't true. You know what I mean? Let me just say, if you think of man back then, right? It's written in a way that it's still a best-selling book, and there aren't many things you can disprove. It's written at a very high level. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're not getting far.
Yeah.
I have to burp.
Yeah, I don't know a good technique to not have it be on. Nice. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think the besides just money grab, like when churches are doing a good job? What I mean, they obviously serve a purpose for people.
Oh yeah, I love the community part. I love that. Like Glenn can love that community that he's part of.
Right.
Love that. Love churches that are small. And I love when people can feel happy and feel like they're protected in some way, but not me. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe there's a God. I don't believe there is Jesus. I don't believe there's a Holy Spirit. Which, if Auntie Janine watches this, I did know what a Holy Spirit is.
Yeah, I misstated.
I doubt she's going to watch this. Still mad
Actually,
about
I
that.
think she will.
Really? I knew they were wrong.
Yeah, I was just misstating what you guys had said.
Yeah, wrong. And I was right.
Yeah, what do you think of like somebody like? What do you think of?
Oh my gosh, is everyone going to judge me because I don't? Like your whole side of the family is like religion, and then like all of mom's side is like pretty much.
Well, what do you? Okay, so you brought
Don't
up a great.
judge me.
Well, what do you think on that? Because I think that's something that pulled you away from.
Are they gonna push it on me? Are they the type of people to push it? Because I don't want someone to sit me down and be like, God is real and He loves you.
Right.
Well, gosh.
Well, what do you? So the whole pushiness and the judgingness, like I think that's something that pushed you away from the church, similar to the, like, forcing speeches on somebody.
Yes. But also, you didn't even like church when you went to it. I don't think church is. I don't think it's for everyone. And
yeah, no, I do not. I don't feel like the church community has any value for me. But then again, I do think there's value in being part of a community too, though. That makes sense.
Yes, but I love different communities better. Like I love my work community so much more than any other religion community I've ever been a part of.
But you haven't really been a part of a community as an adult, like a religious.
I'm not
community.
even an adult right now.
What is it? You know what I mean? But like.
But I did though. I went every Sunday with Maddie.
Right.
Every Sunday, with Maddie.
What, 5 times?
More than that.
Not a lot more.
You'd be surprised how many times I went to that freaking church.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I do think there's value in it, but I do think that I think you feel judgingness from people that aren't actually judging you, and then there are people that do judge you because you're not a Christian and you don't feel the way they do. And I definitely don't like that part of the Christian church.
That's probably like the only thing I have that like Molly gets on my nerves about is that like if I actually think I told her that I'm an atheist, but if I ever did, it would be pushed on me, and like it still is. She's still say like I'm praying for you, but like that it's supposed to be comforting, but when I tell you openly that I don't believe in that, it's like more like a brush off type of thing. Like it doesn't mean anything because I don't believe in it.
Right.
But thank you, I guess.
Well, I mean, so are you closed-minded to, like, your mind is 100% made up, or have you left, maybe someday I will discover something, I will discover faith, and...
No. I love to be open-minded, but I'm so sure. Which I know, like, sounds stupid, but, like, because there's no way anyone knows. But, like, I'm sure in what I believe. Not sure that there could be there could be other possibilities. But I don't think in my lifetime I'll ever change my mind. I think we just go into our graves and we just rot and die and stuff. And nothing really happens.
That's kind of morbid.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up. But
But I hope that you do keep an open mind to it, because you never know.
I am in a religions class, so, and I chose to be there.
Right. I mean, I agree. Like, I think your line of thinking that it doesn't have a place for you. You're pretty solidly convinced that you're not going to be. But sometimes you can be surprised by things that come up.
People are going to think I'm going to go to hell. I'm not.
Because you don't believe it's there.
I don't.
Yeah. No, but I would suggest. I think a lot of times when people think they know something.
Can I put my leg on
Yeah,
you?
of course. I think a lot of times when people
Ow.
think they know something,
They're wrong.
they're usually wrong. So
What about the whole Christian community? They could all be wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I don't know.
Am I making you uncomfortable? My legs hurt now.
No. I was just thinking if on all my other podcasts, if this had happened, this would be awkward.
Yeah. My
But
hip
my
hurts.
Logie.
I need a break. I sat wrong for too long. I got to move around.
That's all good.
Cut this part. I need to shuffle.
I might have to cut the sound out of that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Shuffle to where it's comfy.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go on to this experience this year with.
Hold on. I got to.
Okay, pull the mic a little closer.
You said to.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't done burping. That's why I was so far away. I'm not done. Okay, I'm done. That was good.
So can coaches bully players?
Yes. And why isn't that a thing? I don't get that. Every person can bully anyone.
So you went through a traumatic thing this year.
So
Okay.
beyond traumatic, it's not funny.
And we don't need to, like, I don't think we want to go into the story or anything like that, or we don't need to, okay? But just in general, the coach bully, like, can you talk about what that did to you?
All of it. Which parts? When?
Just the whole.
When in the timeline? Because multiple parts of the timeline did different things to me.
All of it. But we don't need to tell this. You know what I mean? Like, tell your story of what you felt, what it did to you, how it. Because I don't think people have ever considered this. I mean, we witnessed this from the school. What we did in the school, it's like the school's attitude is like, that's just hard coaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not bullying. It's just her style of coaching. Well, I'm sorry that's not acceptable to just give it that name. Like,
I think what they weren't understanding is that we had told her that we didn't want to be treated that way, and she continued to, which is the big difference between hard coaching and not. If you want to be a hard coach and then someone tells you this has gone too far and you need to stop because I'm uncomfortable, you should stop. That's like human knowledge, like just human things and morals, you know?
Well, I think a lot of people have the perspective. They look at like professional coaches, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's how insert coach's name here, right? That's how Bill Belichick does it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he's coaching a professional sport of the most elite of the elite.
Yeah, and it's like money on the line.
Right. And even if there's money on the line, even if your coaching career's on the line with these young players, which we're not talking about that case. You know, like, this isn't a job that pays you a lot of money.
But it wasn't like during coaching moments that were the worst. It wasn't during a drill or
Right.
or yelling from a sideline at a game. It was after. It was pulling us aside. It was
Right.
ridiculing us in front of everyone. And
That's a good point. In this case, I mean, I guess I was talking in general, like outside of your situation.
oh, not.
But
about
you're
me.
right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So like, I want to. So like, bullying players is absolutely a thing. But I want to talk about like, what harm did that cause you, and how did that affect you in school, at home, sleep? Can you just talk about what this did to you?
Right. Let's talk about every mental illness I gathered from one event. Cool. Well, first of all, I cried in front of all of my teachers I have this semester. All of them. Not one did I not. And even more. Because I was put in situations where I was alone and I was vulnerable. And are we going to talk about... I learned a lot about power and
Yeah.
people in power, but we can get to that after I tell you about all my traumas. I stopped sleeping. I started having nightmares from it. And then I would wake up panicking because they felt so real, because they, like, at one point were real. I got really bad anxiety. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. I got really, 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 really depressed because they made me feel like what happened to me was invalid and I wasn't You know what I mean.
I do.
Doing so much better now, though.
So, and I want to say that's like, I think of like if you had the same coach from the previous years.
Love her.
I mean, there's no doubt you would have been a captain on the team. You would have been had a leadership role. You would have been one of the most, if not the most talented player on the team.
I would have been scouted too.
And you would have left the season a confident young lady.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, as a parent, I wanted you in sports. I want you in sports to like, I have a challenge in front of me. I'm pushing through. I'm like all the good things of sports.
The memories. That's the part that I'm looking back like I don't know what was brought up, but there was like a memory of like something the other coach had done, and I was like, oh, such a good memory, but it's all clouded now by that 1 year.
Right. And I think the whole point, I think where coaches, back to this bullying thing, isn't the goal to have these kids, if you're a high school coach, none of them are going to be pro. You know what I mean? Like,
most likely.
especially girls sports, right? There's no such thing as pro field hockey for women, right? So they're not going pro. So what is the goal? The goal is to have them be better people at the end.
Yeah.
And if they become better field hockey players, great.
Yeah.
Right? And this was exactly the opposite goal this coach had.
Oh, yeah. She wanted us to be evil and scary and mean to other people. And
even if she had that goal in mind.
She did. She told me. Us.
No, I was saying the goal.
Sorry.
Yeah. But, okay. And everything I wanted out of sports, like, unfortunately, it was, like, everywhere until your senior year. Oh, boy. Okay. Every year until your senior year was doing exactly what we wanted sports to do until that year, which is sad. But you just mentioned power thing. This is an interesting thing.
Most interesting I've learned.
Because I learned a lot, too. Power and balance, right?
I think the biggest thing I learned is that people in power aren't who they are. I think in most cases. I think people can be good people, but when people are given power, they change. And I feel it in all, I feel all people feel it. When you get a power of some sort over someone, you feel like you're in control and you can do anything. And you're almost protected by it because you're in some way higher than them in a hierarchy, you know what I mean? But there's a lot to power that I've learned so much more about.
Care to elaborate?
No.
Okay.
Because I've lost my train of thought.
I think you're absolutely right, though. Like, power, and there's, I don't know, you don't recognize, like, you've been given this position of authority, so you know better.
They think that.
Right.
Not true. Most of the time.
Even when it is true. Like, and sometimes it's hard to consider all 40 players on a team or whatever the situation is, or whether you're
We had barely 15. But okay.
Even 15 different minds, it's hard to consider all of them. But thinking your way is absolutely the right way, and this is...
Oh, yeah. I love the line, quote, "You're confusing this for a democracy. It's a dictatorship."
Well, it is. She is right. She's a jerk to say that.
No, she isn't.
But she should be open.
No, but on a team, I think it is a democracy. Because you know how, like, in a democracy, you vote for people which would be the captains, who talk to the coach, the president, or whatever. You get it?
But sometimes a coach, I mean, it's not, because you don't hire the person, you don't have any say in who's the coach.
Captain.
There should be communication, though. And it should be, like, a successful coach is understand their team and pushing the team in the right way, pushing individuals in the right way to get the best out of them and make them.
It would still be a democracy, but we will not elaborate.
Okay.
Do you want me to elaborate?
If you want to.
Democracy, yes, because democracy allows people to make suggestions and they can be vetoed, whatever. They go through a process. People around the group agree, disagree. Oh, I like this idea. I don't. She was a dictator. You guys are all going to shove this mouth guard in your mouth because it's the style I want. You're all going to be mean to the other players. You're all going to stand in a straight line. You're all going to do this warm-up this way. Coming in our first year with a team that had already developed a routine. And then when I tell her, you're making me uncomfortable, you're making a lot of people uncomfortable, I don't like the way you're treating us, and then telling me it's a dictatorship, wrong.
But the reason it's a dictatorship is when you brought up those points, you were then removed.
Wrongfully.
But that's what dictators do.
Yes, I do agree that she is a dictator.
Right.
I think a team should be a democracy.
Right. I don't know about the election part of democracy, but yes, I think you're a success. I would say all successful coaches have very strong, what we call it, democracy.
I don't know.
Yeah. They're very in tune with their players.
Yeah, they should care.
And being a caring coach actually makes you a better coach. And
the team works better.
And when you are a dictator style coach.
Am I going to get in trouble for talking about this?
No, because we haven't said any names or anything specific.
Oh, yeah. No.
Not that we would anyways, because I would stand by any claims we want to make. But let's move on from this, okay?
Is this hate speech? Because...
No. Okay. I had to cough, but I'm trying to hold it.
Do it.
Thank you.
Do it. That wasn't a cough.
That's all I had to do. Okay. So would you describe yourself as antisocial? Man, you've got me doing this thing too.
Only for emphasis, Dad.
I know.
Emphasis.
Would you describe yourself as antisocial? Stop avoiding the question.
Elaborate.
Let me ask you this differently, actually.
Thank you.
Do you think other people would describe you as antisocial?
Yes. No.
I'm sorry.
Did you fart?
No, it was a burp.
Oh. I don't know. It's just a hard question. I think it's different now that I'm on drugs.
Okay.
I think being so anxious all the time made me very introverted, antisocial. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to. But now I can't stop talking. So I'm very social. Very, very, very.
Do you think I'm antisocial?
You do podcasts.
Yeah, that's. But
that's
honestly,
about it. So yes.
Part of it is to challenge myself to be less.
Then yes. Do you think you're antisocial?
Yes.
Great.
Well, so let's talk about your allergies.
Allergies?
To small talk.
Oh. Yes. Because it's awkward. It's awkward. Some lady tried to do it to me in the parking lot today. I was like, cool, bye.
Well, I honestly think my what would be described as antisocial, and I think you're similar on this, Rage. I honestly can't stand small talk. I get that it has a place, and I do it, but it's like, it's just useless, wasted bandwidth.
How's the weather?
What?
That's my biggest
Oh,
pet peeve.
right. It's just a pastime. You know what I mean? It's just like what.
It's sunny outside today. Yeah, duh.
So so like, how's your day? Good. How's your day? Good. Like,
I'd rather do something more interesting. Like, you knit for you know how to sew? Teach me, please. That's more interesting.
No, I agree.
Back to Jackie.
No, a lot of times we know. I mean, there's a reason small talk happens, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in a situation where we're not going to be around. It's just a short interaction and we're moving back on. And there's something about being nice and polite, which I think I do.
Yes.
And there's a place for that. But it's useless conversation.
Enzo.
And when I know conversations aren't going to go somewhere, I avoid them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he just yawned.
That was an interesting sounding yawn.
I do the same thing at Walgreens, though. Like, when people try talking to me about the stuff they're buying and why they're buying it, I'm like, I don't care. But that's mean. I pretend to care.
But
I don't. I really don't.
And I try to avoid those at all costs. Like, I don't like this sitting with you for however long this goes, right? Sitting with other people podcasting I find so interesting. Like, I can ask questions I find interesting. When we're asked a get together, a family get together or something, and it's like, oh, how are things going? And it's like I don't.
How's your sibling? Good. Duh. Like if they were bad, you would know. Sorry. This is literally. I'm literally talking to my family right now. I'm sorry that I've ruined small talk for all of us.
But if anything, like I'd
Oopsie.
encourage deeper conversation. Let's talk about like what's my like somebody would ask me, so you're running. What's about running? Like, what are you doing running? It's like I can tell them a bit about running, which I like talking about, but like I'm not gonna get like why I run. What
Why do you run?
oh, do you want to go
All
there?
right. So
I'm fine with
hand
this
over the
transition.
notepad. I'm kidding.
No, I'm fine with this transition.
Let me take the wheel.
I don't know.
Oh.
I hate running.
Guys, this concludes our podcast. Let's wrap this up. Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't ever. I should say that. I don't enjoy running. Is that an L? Are you calling me a liar or a loser? Why?
Because I, I do everything because I love it. You're weird. But also, I guess I can value that in some sort.
No, no. You just hit on something that like literally is something that's changed in me a lot in the last few years.
What?
So I like competing. Okay, I like swimming. I found out I like biking. Like I was doing triathlons. I didn't like running.
That was the worst part?
That was the worst part. The part I dreaded the most. And I avoided as much as possible. And I do the swim and I do the bike because I enjoyed them. And pursuing something difficult, like I think where our society has kind of gone wrong is we have so much pleasure at our fingertips anytime we want.
I thought you were getting distracted by a notification. I was like,
No.
really, Dad? Come on now.
I think pursuing hard things and difficult things, and every time I go for a run, 9 times out of 10, I'm not excited to go run.
I can tell when he walks out the door.
And I'm yawning and I'm like, and I'm
pausing at the door.
Right.
Heavy sigh before it opens.
Does that look like somebody that's excited to go run?
No.
So why do I do it when I get done? It's like, I just did something hard. Okay, this is something I really want to get into. I'll prove the point to you. Your art. Do you do easy things? Is it easy?
No.
When you get started on an art project, you know that like I got to put in, if you're truly being creative, it's hard work. It's hard mental work. So why do you do it?
Oh, I love it.
But the process is hard.
I love the process.
But it's hard.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
And you don't just do, like, I've seen your art. You don't just do the things you're already good at. You're constantly pushing your boundaries.
I do all things, everything.
So you're pursuing something hard.
That was creepy. I just looked at the camera so creepily. Yes, I do.
So what is it? So I want to talk about the art thing. I'm taking back over control. I'm steering the ship.
Okay, well, I'm going to pause you. Behind you, there's a thing with chapstick in it. I need it. It's that little, yep, bingo. Terrible throw. Go ahead and ask your question.
So tell me, so art, like you've kind of got, I mean, you've always been creative, but like recently you've kind of got last 2 years, like more deeply into art and creating. What is it that you found in that you like so much?
Miss Crow.
Elaborate?
No, I'm kidding. I need a minute to think about that question because I don't really know. I think I was always a good artist. I just was overshadowed by Kim because she was an amazing artist when she was younger. But yeah, Miss Crow definitely started it because I wouldn't have joined an AP art class because I wouldn't have been accepted. So Digicom, I guess, taking photos, because then I got really good at that.
Is there something in the process of creating?
Yes.
Like, what is that? Like, what is it like? Okay, for somebody that isn't an artist or doesn't get into art, explain to me that process of creating that's so intoxicating.
I feel like, so very specific, but I used to put away library books in middle school. Was that your phone that just buzzed?
Yeah.
Rude.
Kaylin, she knows we're in here.
Okay, well, do not disturb.
I'll just flip it over. I got song lyrics.
How many times has he interrupted me? Make a tally of
Probably
that.
not as much as you've interrupted me.
Facts. What was I
Okay.
saying? Oh, I used to put away books. And I used to love it because there was a system and you'd put it away and you put it away. And then you'd find a new pile and you'd be like, oh, this is in this category. And then you put it away and you put it away, put it away. And that's how art is. You figure out how to do something and then you have to probably do it over and over and over and over and over again. You know, like charcoal. You figure out how to do it, then it's the blending, it's the shading, it's, highlighting, whatever.
But that's the
Methodical.
nuts and bolts of it though. Like there's
Oh, you mean the creating part? I've always had that brain,
and then
though.
when it's like, but for somebody that doesn't have that or doesn't feel like they have that, that you found, what is that?
The creative part?
Yeah, like where does your mind have to go? And I even think I'm not just thinking art, your poetry, things like that. Like where does your mental space? Where's that come from?
Thoughts, feelings. Honestly, through your life, you go through bad things and like just trying to express it in a way that someone can see and feel and be like, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago. An artist had talked about like he felt that ideas are just there floating around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to tune into them, and then you can grab them.
Oh yeah, do you want to look at my notes app? It's full of random ideas that make no sense when I look back at them.
When are you at your most creative? Is there?
When I wake up. Not like in the morning, in the middle of the night. Or before bed. Or when I'm forcing myself to.
I think you have an extremely creative mind.
Thank you.
Well, there's people that are extremely creative at the nuts and bolts, like you're talking about of
Shading.
art, whatever they're doing. You're sculpting, shading, drawing.
Yeah.
They can look at just out of their mind, draw amazing things. And I don't think you or I are like exceptionally talented at that. But as far as coming up with something brand new, you're exceptional at that. And I don't know where that comes from, as far as like we're like, yeah. And then the other thing though, like I think you found at the end, what's it like when you finish a project and you step back and look at it? Do you want, like, okay, I construct something out of wood, right?
Mm-hmm.
I build
Clock.
something, clock, whatever it is. I'll look at it and I'll walk away. I'll come back and look at it and damn, I did that. Like that was not there. That was a junk pile of wood and now it's something, which makes me think of Bo Miles. But I made something, and there's something like in that's just like.
Yes. I guess I get your running validation from art, yes.
Explain that. I don't know what you mean.
Really? Like, you feel validated in some way that the work that you're doing has paid off. Like, I guess at a marathon, like, all that work of years of doing training, weeks of doing the same project, and then looking back at it and being like,
okay,
yeah.
that makes me think of something. So when I run and I do a marathon, there's depression afterwards. And
Elaborate.
It's a high.
And then you crash?
Without a doubt. Like, oh, I just finished that. What's next? I was doing this I was focused on this for so long, and now maybe art isn't such a long process that it doesn't.
That is where we are different, because I never not have another idea in mind.
Yeah.
My notes app is full of ideas.
I'm pulling up something as you talk.
Oh, and my notes app is just like, I'll draw like a random sketch and be like, this here, this is what that is. And it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why I don't put more detail in, because I don't get it afterwards. Like, I'm like, what is that supposed to be? Sometimes I can get it, though. Are you going to read it?
No.
Can I read it?
This one's not a great one to read because it's the I'm sorry one where she crossed them all out, and then
Wait, can I see it again? Did I not cross out the first one? That's interesting.
Well, it says I'm sorry, which is the title.
It's underlined though.
That's the title, right?
But I don't think so.
Is this? I think this is okay.
What are you doing?
Creativity time, right? I'm gonna read one of your poems, or do you want to read it?
Can I see it first?
Here and Now.
I'm not gonna read it. I don't know. I don't remember any of my poems, so this will be the first time. I'm gonna close my eyes. Go ahead.
I don't even know. Yeah. Okay. I don't even know if this is one of your good ones
Have
or bad ones.
you pre-read this?
No.
If you stutter over lines, you're gonna ruin it.
Wow. She's just hating on me if I stutter.
Yeah, I do the same thing though, so it's fair.
Okay, I can get my reading voice on. Testing. No. Okay.
Ow.
Here and Now by Logan Curtis.
Me.
If this is lyrics and I'm mistaken.
No, I definitely remember the title. I just don't
Okay,
remember the
good.
poem.
Here and Now by Logan Curtis. I think this was written pretty early. I walk through these halls with a white flag. I heard all of you silly, pointless conversations. My words are muted behind my lips. My book held tight to my chest like steel armor. My mind is never quiet. My arms are never still. They shake under your hot, burning gaze. We tried to tame our heavy emotions, like trying to tame those wolves into dogs. Our happy, thin, and scrawny, like our desperate eating disorder. We tell our body that they are disgusting, hiding our curves behind this extra large sweater that melts into our own skin. Burning our words into gray ashes, our sadness stands like thriving zombies as we walk on. Scream out in silent plea for help. We don't wear colorful neon, but instead hide in the dark. For the slow zombies inside is now eating me alive.
I was a genius. God. I love myself.
Let's. What jumps out at you? Like any lines that you said in the other. Like,
everything is so just me back then. It was so middle school me.
Talk me through that. Like, what does that mean?
Everything. It's so accurate. I used to feel like everyone was watching me, which is actually like a thing that like it's happening in teenagers' brains. Wow. I'm slurring again. Anyways, but also hiding away your body. I never had an eating disorder. Let's make that clear. But I knew people who were also hiding because of eating disorder. I never had one. But you, did you
feel it though?
I did have body dysmorphia, which is like, I don't know if everyone knows, but like it's like feeling like you look a different way even though you don't. Like either like some people feel really fat when they're not. I hated the way I looked, so I would wear like the baggiest stuff I could, always, which was a line somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, the sweater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the zombie part though.
Well,
that's so cool. I love myself. I'm literally so cool.
Well, what you did, so you captured, in my opinion, you captured the emotion of a young teenager.
Yeah, feeling terrified of everything and sad and just like feeling like there's no escape to it, which at the time was so dramatic.
Yes. But I think all of your art, your photography, the paintings I've seen, the nuts and bolts, you're not the most talented. But in capturing an emotion, you're elite.
Slaying at it.
But I mean, I know you're trying to make this. Are you awkward when I say positive things for you? Because you.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's good to be humble in that way, but you capture. Like I look at a photograph you've taken of just a simple thing. It's like, oh, I see sadness there. All right, like you're just great at capturing emotion in that way, and there's very few that have that talent.
I am talented in the arts. Too bad it doesn't make any money.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Anybody want to buy a book of my poems? Let me know. Because that was genius. God.
Okay. So we're jumping to a lyric because I want
Sorry.
the,
I used the Lord's name in vain. Not in vain, but not appropriately.
so I feel like this is like a reoccurring theme that we're gonna have in our little talk here, but songs, right? I mean, because this is a big part of
What do you have behind that screen?
who we are. So I'm gonna read you this. I'm gonna read you this. Okay,
What is it?
I'm done reading from you. Okay,
Oh, thank God.
because I feel like that was. I'm so glad I picked that one. I picked just one I had, which I don't have that many, and that's one of my favorites. So I'm glad that's the one.
That one's amazing. I should look through my notes more.
Yeah. Okay. You should. So this is lyrics, okay? And this is one of my favorite lyrics that has come up before. We should go and get a friggin' cup of coffee. And I'll act friendly and I won't pull any stunts. But I'm a little stunt puller from birth. So I don't know what to tell you if I try to confess my love for
Scones.
scones.
Hobo Johnson. Love that guy.
So let's.
Yep.
This is one of the first songs I think you sent me.
Yeah.
And this one blew my mind in such on all the levels we talked about before.
Yeah.
Like what I thought it was like before, and then what the song sounds like, which makes me laugh just thinking about it. And then what I thought the song meant, and then what I learned the song was meant by the artist. What do you think of when you? So let's just do a little, like our lyric thing. That little part I read. What does it make you think? What does it mean? What is it?
Well, like at first, or what does it mean now?
Tell me just your now thoughts.
My now thoughts is like,
Because your now thoughts looking back on.
that song is so cute. It's so funny. Anyone who hasn't listened to that song, listen to it because you'll get it.
Peach scones.
Yeah, Peach Codes by Hobo Johnson.
Yeah.
I just gave that guy the advertisement. This goes viral. You're welcome.
He deserves it for that. Honestly, it's one. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's like most famous song. Anyways, it's about this cute little shy boy who's like obviously in love with this girl, and like he's like he wants to tell her, and then he's like if I confess my love for scones, and then he goes on being like the diversity between them, the blueberry, the strawberry, the pumpkin, even a freaking squash.
How can you make a scone out of a freaking squash?
That blows my mind.
Oh, where? Okay, we're getting into the rest of the lyrics.
Yeah.
But that. So this is the imagery that I love.
I love it too.
Because this boy wants to say he loves this girl.
Yeah, but then like goes on a tangent about scones.
But he gets. What happens to that boy in that moment? Like, he's about to say,
He's
I love.
amped up, and then he goes,
I want to confess my love for, and he wants to say, you, Logan.
yeah.
But his brain does what in that moment?
It switches. It was fight or flight, and he was like, flight. Flight, flight, flight.
And he just grabs the thing that's around him.
Yeah. Scones. So weird and random. I love
Right,
it.
and the rest of the song.
Ooh, guys, if you're going to listen to it, do the live. Do the live version.
I think the live's better, yes.
But can you add that in the?
I might even try to play a clip of this, and YouTube might like give me issues, but I might try to insert a clip. But yeah, so like, but it also makes me think of us. Like that song now has a connection to you,
Yeah.
and what a fun thing. And that was like so different. So Hobo Johnson is kind of like a rapper. He's kind of like goofy, funny, right?
Yeah.
And this is coming off like a lot of. Oh yeah. I should just read another similar lyric that like. Okay. And this is gonna go deep. So this is the type of lyrics that usually Logan would throw me. Okay. Doctor's smile killed me with kindness, and I don't ask about the side effects. Swallow hard, kill sadness with science, but the aftermath might make you sick. Should I take a pill to numb the pain, change the chemicals inside my brain? I won't worry. I worry I won't be the same, but I guess that's the point. We were doing deep stuff. You were on a deep stuff, and then you throw Hobo Johnson on me.
Cutest song in the world. I'm surprised you didn't bring up the burning one, the most recent one I sent you.
Oh, I didn't go to. I went more for like memory, nostalgia.
That one was good though. Enzo.
So what is that thing?
Enzo.
Was that just Gabby Hanna I just read?
Yeah.
So it's...
Guys, I'd like it to be known, don't look up Gabby Hanna. I do not support her right now.
Okay. But old Gabby Hanna.
Yeah.
That's not... I mean, honestly, that's one of the most... What does those lyrics make you think right now?
What were they? Sorry. Wait, you don't have to read them.
Chemical Change My Brain.
Oh, yeah, that one.
But I guess that's the point.
Oh, yeah, like my fear of, like, taking pills and, like, having and knowing you're going to change, but, like, knowing who you are now isn't good. But also, I love the doctor smile part. Kill me with kindness. The whole, like, how your doctor is going to, like, or therapist is going to, like, glorify everything and make you think that you're going to be okay and then, like, doubting them.
Yeah.
Love those lyrics, man.
Yeah.
Next.
Anxiety.
Terrible.
So, I don't know what...
You know, I have a question.
Go ahead. Please do it.
Does Grampy have anxiety?
I think we all have anxiety. Like, does anybody not have anxiety?
Yes.
I don't. I think I do. I just think I deal with it. Do I have anxiety anything like the level you do? No. I don't think I've ever...
That's what I mean. I think people can feel anxiety, and I think people can feel... in the same way that people can feel depressed after they lose a loved one.
Right.
But anyways.
But they don't. But you lose a loved one, you're depressed. That doesn't mean you understand depression.
Yeah.
So for somebody that doesn't understand anxiety at the level of what you've experienced and felt, describe it for me what that's like. Like, help me understand it.
I envy everyone who doesn't feel the way that I feel. I don't know the way to describe it. It's just a constant worry and pain, like physical, in your chest, that something's going to happen that will make you uncomfortable, or the fear of anything. I had so many fears, I couldn't even pinpoint one, but...
Even if you know it's irrational, you know logically it's irrational.
To be scared of speeches? Yeah.
No.
Are you trying to get an example?
No, I have an example if you want.
Oh.
Do you want an example?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Bottle caps.
Not
Okay.
bottle caps. Water bottle covers.
The plastic ones.
Yes, most.
So, but you know logically
And
that's...
glass ones.
Like that, there's no real, like, you're not putting your mouth on it. There's no real thing that's causing you anxiety there. I don't think that's... I don't know if that's even the right term.
I don't think it is either. But
because it's not real anxiety you feel over those. If somebody told you tomorrow you're going to have to touch a bottle cap,
I'm not worked up the same way I'd be about a speech.
But like, so let's just say, but that fear is irrational.
Let's point out that Dad used to throw them at me because he thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What a butt face.
I guess that's not a great example, but there are things that you know
that are irrational, like speeches. I gave a great example.
I don't think speeches are good because I think that's actually irrational.
Is it?
That's a good.
I feel stupid for feeling it.
But getting up in front of people, and
just because it's common doesn't mean it isn't irrational.
Right. I mean, if a teacher's going to read everybody's grades out in a classroom, and they're like, oh no, I did good. Now everybody's going to know how I did.
I've never had bad grades.
But if you're somebody that had to give a speech and you know you didn't study the stuff or whatever, it's rational.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. I guess I don't have a good example, but I don't know. I
don't have many irrational fears.
Well, give me an example of something you're anxious, that you have anxiety over that isn't speeches.
Oh, something stupid that I've definitely been worked up about.
Sure.
Like if someone calls on me, instant like sharp pain in my chest, and I'm like.
So then you worry about, I have to go to class and I might get called on?
Yes. That was like a year or two ago.
So that's a good example. Okay.
Irrational and stupid. Because I usually know the answer.
You usually know the answer, and how many times, like in a week, how many times you called on in one class? Depends
what class.
But not often, right?
Popsicle 6? You never know.
The proportionality of how much you're called on and how much you worry about it is
But
out of
for
balance.
me back then, it didn't matter. The possibility of that day would work me up the whole class.
Right. Right.
Hate popsicle sticks. If I
And
don't raise my hand, I don't want to say anything. Gosh.
do you think some of it's? I mean, I'm in the water ball thing and this. Like, do you think? I think you have a mind that obsesses over things. Does that sound accurate?
Yes. Okay. Also, I think we're glamorizing the anxiety I went through. These are things that were minor.
No, I know.
I'm not. I don't have anxiety because I'm scared of water. Water.
No, I know.
You know, but I'm making it clear to everyone else.
Okay. I forgot what I was saying. No, now you got me forgetting.
Well, think.
But do you? So
Got him.
yeah, I'm totally lost my train of thought. Interrupted by Logan.
Oops.
Do you think your anxiety?
We were talking about raising my hand. I don't know if that was.
Well, so if you're in class and you hadn't thought about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all where I was going, but
The podcast man forgot everything. Boom. Loser. Woo 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 woo.
what are your thoughts on like nutrition
Why would you bring that up?
going into life?
Oh, yeah. Is it because I said my metabolism's going to go away one day? So I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts?
No, the only reason I bring it up is because it's something like Grammy asked me about. Like, you didn't ask this person about nutrition. And they would have had interesting thoughts. And every time I ask Logan on something, usually have interesting thoughts. So, like, what are your...
You're going to be so surprised.
Okay, go. Oh,
I
Grammy's
don't care. Oh, I wish I did, but like...
What would make you care? Or could you? Like,
I think life's too short.
but
I think
but if you don't, if you let nutrition go and you don't care and you just, and your body feels the effects of not caring, then life is shorter.
Oh, yeah. But I don't want to be 90 and crippled and barely able to do anything and living. You know what I mean?
So would you rather be 90 and healthy and doing things?
No, I'd rather die earlier.
But what if you could be 90 and doing all the things you like to do?
There's 0% chance of that happening.
Why?
Because nobody 90 years old is living their best life.
I would disagree with you.
Anyways.
Would-
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean...
Would you say Papa at the end, he wasn't, and he's not exactly the picture of health physically like he had, but he was living his best life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm conscious of my nutrition, but I don't count calories. I don't look at nutrition labels. Because I'm not going to... Because I could definitely develop an eating disorder if I did that. If I cared enough.
Yes. Well, but isn't the eating disorder more about, I know the calories matter, but it's more about how you look?
Yeah, but sometimes people become the skinny that they probably originally wanted, and then it's about counting more than anything. Grammy, boring topic.
Okay, we're moving on. I'm glad you pinned it on her. Want to talk about Katahdin?
Oh, yeah. Lovely time.
So, I wanted to ask you...
How many people know about this?
Probably nobody listening besides direct family.
Okay.
So, like, is that a fond... We'll get into the
Is
story.
that a fond memory? Oh, my God.
Honestly, like, when you look back on it, what do you...
I'm sorry for using the Lord's name in the wrong way.
But
Gosh.
you're... So, at some... Okay, memory is always an interesting thing to me, an interesting topic, because once you tell a story, the more times you tell it, you remember the story. You don't remember the memory.
I remember vividly. Pictures.
So, when you think back on that, what do you think?
Like, the first, like, memory that pops up?
Like overall feeling of the thing. Like, is it a good memory, a bad memory? Is it...
Are we talking about Knife's Edge?
Yeah.
Good, because let's specify. Because I've had a lot of good experience with Katahdin hiking.
Right.
But, like, I want to talk about the memory that pops in first.
Go ahead.
It's when it was, like, getting dark and we were going down. I remember, like, looking down and just being so tired, and my legs and feet and everything just hurting. And I remember going down and just being like, I don't want to go forward. And I also remember telling someone, I don't know, I think it was you. I was like, that was early on. I was like, I'm going to cry and just like, just keep going. I'm just going to cry. Do you remember
I
that?
do.
Funny. I'm hilarious.
All right, so I feel like I have to kind of tell. Do you want me to tell the story? Or you want
Oh, yeah, you probably remember it better than me.
I'll just tell a quick version of the story. We did Mount Katahdin, which is the largest mountain in Maine.
Which I had done before and done very well, easily.
A couple times, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, I think it was your second time.
Yeah, we did 8 Ball first, and then we did Knife's Edge,
Right.
and then we went back
So
to
we got up to the top of the mountain, and we decided we are going to do Knife's Edge, which I had only done partially before and didn't seem very scary. The parts I'd been on, didn't realize there's much scarier parts. And time-wise, it was actually a shorter distance to go across Knife's Edge to get back to the vehicle than the trail we had come up.
Yes, because that was a really long trail.
Right. So we took the shorter route, and the route I didn't think was that scary. We got there, and it's like the name sounds, it's like being on the edge of a knife. It's terrifying spots. And I'm looking at Logan, and there's points where it's like, we're too far in to turn back now. By the time you get to the scary parts, we're too far. Like, there's not enough time to turn around and get home to
But
get back
also,
before dark.
Before then, I had my feet issues.
Well, that's about the same time. So, well, you had the feet issues, but at some point you tell me about the feet issues.
Yeah.
She takes off her shoes, has severe ingrown toenails on both feet, which I didn't know about. And there's points on the trail where you're crawling and literally
I was.
just terrified in fear. And I'm, as a father, thinking, if she freezes up and can't move anymore, there's no options. We have to get a helicopter. I mean, we're in a spot where there's no... And I was so proud of you that you kept pushing. You found a way to kind of overcome fear, which, I mean, how many people can have a fear of heights as dramatically as you felt and found a way through it? And you'd ask me many times, Dad, how are we getting off this mountain? And I'd say to you, one step at a time.
Oh, I remember that.
And that's literally the only way. I mean, it's brutally honest at that point, but you made it. So, so fartherly, it was a mistake. Like, we went way beyond our skill level, put you in a incredibly dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean,
in the end, we got out of it. We all lived. So, and
yeah, no regrets.
Yeah,
you might, but no regrets for me.
But you could look. So the reason I ask you I'm interested in how you, when you look back at it. So you could look back at, like, as bad as it got, my dad got me through it, right? I'm just saying.
Mostly on the down part, like after we got in the tree line, but during the rock part, no, it was me and the rocks.
Right. No, well, that's the other thing too. Like, you could look at it as like, and this was my hope after, like, as bad as it was, your dad helped you get through it, but you found a way inside your own brain to overcome immense fear. I mean, think of the anxiety you must have felt at 11 years old. No, you were younger than 11, whatever.
Yeah.
10 years old on this mountain. You found a way to overcome and finish something.
And I went back on that mountain, believe it or not.
But I've always believed, my parents, I think my dad used to say this, mind over matter. Like, you can achieve anything with your mind if you put your mind to it. And I kind of always believe that. And you found a way in a very impressive way.
I think fear led most of it, though. I think I was just scared of...
But a lot of people, when fear happens, they freeze. They're done. They're shut. They're literally, your body shuts off.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see someone being like, just call for a helicopter. I'm done.
Right. And you found a way at that young age to say, I can do this. Somehow.
I don't know if I was saying that, but...
Well, what do you think you were saying?
I have to do this?
It's life and death. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to crawl my way through it, I'm going to do it. And I did for a while.
And you didn't give up. So I would like for you to think back on that as, like, with pride. Because you didn't put yourself in that situation. I did. That's on me. But you found a way to get out of that alive.
Yeah. I wasn't scared of ever dying.
Which you should have been. I think that's partially your age, but a fall there.
Yeah.
I mean, a fall from any height can kill you. You know.
Yeah, I know that, but I wasn't scared of falling at the time. I wasn't scared of. I don't know. It's hard to remember because I was so terrified that like that's all I could think about was just like. I don't think I ever looked out. I think I was only rock after rock.
Yeah, but that I mean I there's so many correlations to life and things you're going through now and to what you did there that's applicable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you had hard things and you found a way? You didn't just give up. I mean, I know like a lot of school stuff. You haven't like, what's the point of this? But you still find a way and get an A or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you.
Yeah, I think you're so right about that because when your brain's developing, it learns things, it patterns, and I think at that point my brain was probably had learned that fear is just something I can overcome. And that's probably what made that switch with a lot of things because I don't know. I think I've definitely, it was just a really good point that like my brain was growing and developing during that time and it learned so much from that trip. Definitely.
And unfortunately, like you were so young, I don't think you were able to like look back on that in pride. But this goes back to what we were talking about with the art and everything like that. Like, if you just scribbled something down and it came out really good, it's like, oh, that's cool. I did this. And you turn it into your teacher and everybody loves it and you get an A. What you know what I mean? It's like, oh, wow, it's amazing. As opposed to something you strain over and you work over and you rethink and you think and you give up on and you come back to it and you give up on and you come back to it and then finally it comes together. Even though that might not be as good of an artwork.
Yeah.
That means something to you, the struggle of that.
Yeah, that experience was definitely similar.
So that ties it back into the running thing that I was trying to explain to you.
Oh.
Right? The struggle, that I worked, I spent a year trying to run 100 miles. And I got to 90 and I didn't finish it, but like that race.
Killed it.
That race, I know the work that went into it. There's a sense of achievement, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that artwork, there's a sense of achievement afterwards. And it's like, but there's that connection that I think a lot of people don't learn because they have parents or they've grown up in such a chasing comfort, right? That there's value at the end of hard work, that pushing through something. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And if you're aware of that in your head, then when hard work comes, it's like, oh, I know if I do this thing, it's going to have a reward at the end. And that reward's more valuable than just...
I think that's why I'm so good at school is because, like, I just... Like, even when I procrastinate or I do childish things, I get it done and I always get an A. Is because it's hard and normally people would just be like, what's one missing assignment? Let me just go to sleep. But I don't.
And I think that who knows where your career is going to go, right? Where life's going to take you. But that attitude will serve you well, for sure.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people don't have that.
I'm hungry.
Okay. Well, best memories. Like if I just ask you like your best memories of childhood, like what pops in your head?
Pops into my head, Jeff, Kaylin and I having a water balloon fight and Kayla and I trying to team up against Jeff and him crushing us. That was such a funny memory.
Is it just because it was fun? I don't remember what we're talking about.
You weren't. I don't think you were there. I don't know. That's just like, I don't know. It was the first one that popped in my mind. You said the first one. Is it my best memory? Probably not.
No, but that's the one that's closest to the surface for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Was this supposed to go somewhere?
I don't know.
That was such a lame one.
I don't know.
Sorry. I probably should have picked a better one.
We've talked about what do you want out of life and what's the meaning of life?
Whoa. Gosh, you asked everybody these questions?
No, but you're Logan.
What was the first part of that question?
What do you want out of life?
What do I want out of life? I want I want to live comfortably and then die.
So happiness doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. That's what comfortably means. Gosh.
I don't
It's
think
part
so.
of my comfortably.
I would say comfortable is kind of like
That's money-wise.
middle of the. Is there a correlation between money and comfort
Yes.
and
yes.
happiness?
Yes. 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 I know the poor people are the happiest people, but yes.
Not necessarily.
Well, you've
But
told me that before.
some of the happiest people on earth happen to be the poorest. But
I don't think I can be happy if I'm stressed so much about money. But anyways, yes, happiness is part of it. Also having relationships.
so what's more important? Okay, what's more important? Happiness or comfortable?
Comfortable.
Wouldn't you want happiness?
Because I won't
more?
be happy if I'm not comfortable.
But if you're happy and you're not comfortable,
Then I'm not happy.
I'm happy after a run. I'm happy after a hard artwork or a project.
No, Dad.
But I'm not-
Comfortable is associated with money. Living comfortably.
Yeah, but
Money.
I'm saying that, like, I go for a 4-hour run. That's uncomfortable. And I'm happy at the end.
I feel like that's also, you're also asking me like,
Yeah, it's a tough question. I'm sorry.
yeah, terrible question, bad podcast.
So let's go to a tougher question. Meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Is there a meaning of life?
No. Just random organisms. I mean, I think people who are religious probably think there is a meaning to life. I think morally there's a reason for life.
If there's a reason, then there has to be religion of some sort, right? There has to be something behind it.
Moral.
Right? If you're an
Morals.
atheist, don't you have to say there's no meaning?
No.
Because if there's meaning, who gives it meaning?
Me. Us. People. Duh.
Okay. Good answer. Logan's going to shoot me down.
Yeah.
If teardrops could be bottled, they'd be swimming pools filled by models. Tight. Sorry. Yeah.
Another Gabby Hanna.
Yeah, sorry, that one. There's one I definitely want to get to. Okay. This is one of my favorite.
Wait, that's Billie Eilish, sorry.
I thought it's okay. This is one of my favorite song like lyric chunks, and there's something I picked out of it here which I didn't realize. Okay, which is an interesting thing.
Hey, Enzo. Enzo. Stop snoring.
It's been a long, dark, dirty road, but a pocket full of gold. And I've been here out on my own. I've been here now, all on my own. Well, it's real quiet here, just the way I like it here. There's no one to bother me except that old haunting tree.
Don't tell me. It's Broken Cowboy. What's the artist?
Dead South.
Dead South. I knew it.
Well, so that little part of the song, we both know that song very well.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I don't think we've ever discussed this particular part of the line.
Love that song. Love all songs. But
Let's talk about what this. I want to do our thing again.
you only have this part of the lyrics.
Yeah, but there's some interesting things I hadn't thought of.
All right.
Okay. Pocket full of gold. I don't think I've ever picked up on that.
Why? That's the whole point of the song. Is that he's trying to get money for his family, and then he ends up getting the money, but then his family goes away, and his son is dead.
Yeah, his son dies.
Right. Come on, Dad.
I guess I hadn't thought of that. I get that was the whole point, but I didn't. In my head, he never actually got the gold. Like, he never got anything, but he did get the gold. He is rich.
But then you realize that that's not what the real meaning was. His family is what kept him going, and that's why.
So he chased comfort his entire life. He finally got comfort, and it wasn't worthwhile.
What he thought he wanted.
He thought money was comfort.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said just a little while ago? Is he right there?
Bow. Oh, I turned red. Got mad at me. Too loud. Yes.
Yeah, chasing money isn't the path, which I think you're actually very in tune with. Like, not wanting to take on college debt unless it has a real purpose. what value of
Yeah, but I'm not chasing a heavy career. I just want to live comfortably, which means being able to survive.
right. Let me ask you the last line
There's no one to bother me except that old taunting tree.
was that feels like a Logie ending to a song
Yes,
if ever I've heard
and
one. Explain that to me. How you think of it.
I want to read the other lyrics. Can we pause? Intermission. What song is this called? I forgot.
Broken Cowboy. You just said it a second ago.
Because it explains it, Dad. Come on.
Come on. I want to explain it out of your head though.
Yeah, I'll explain it in just a second. Give me a life. That's not
Give
what
you
I meant.
life. I did.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
I'm just dropping hammers on Logan right here.
That's not what I meant to say. I'm distracted. Taunting tree was brought up earlier in the song, right?
I don't think so.
Wait, hold on. Can we really pause?
No, we're just talking.
No,
keep
I have
going.
to read.
Go ahead and read. I want me to talk about what I think it means?
No, because
No.
then I won't be listening.
Yeah. So Broken Cowboys by the Dead South, it's a bluegrass band, I guess, with heavy banjo. It's something that her and I would never, ever, I don't know, it's not our type of music. I remember the first time I played a song by them, and he was like, "What is this crap?"
Hey, listen to me. I'm
Okay,
more important.
Now we're going to go switch to Logan.
So in the song, it talks about when he starts going on the road, and he says, living life on the fast lane, racing cars and robbing trains. And then he talks about, we rode them damn horses until we had none. And so that paints a visual in my mind of him riding horses through like a desert almost. And then at the end he says, there's no one to bother me except that old taunting tree. Throughout his whole journey he had his wife, his son, and now he's just, I don't know. Maybe it's a tree of life. I don't know. Good question, Dad.
No, I think like this is the kind of stuff you throw into your poetry, and
That
the
doesn't
way
make any sense. That's rude.
there's a connection there, and it's a lonely, right? Like it's a tree taunting you, right? But it's
Also, but like when I visualize it, I picture like a tree that you can hear like the leaves, and it's really, really quiet and eerie. And I wonder if he's just feeling the loneliness of not having anyone but money.
Do you remember that movie with Tom Hanks where he's Castaway, where he's talking to the volleyball Wilson?
Oh,
You know what I'm
are you talking about? No, I don't think you're talking about that. I think you're talking End of the World.
No, it was definitely Castaway. With
Oh, yeah, maybe.
he's on a desert island or whatever, and he talks
Yes.
to Wilson.
Yes.
The volleyball. How sad is that? How lonely is that? That you have to resort, like your life has come to a point where you have to talk to inanimate objects.
But also it happened in End of the Effing World.
Yeah. But he's talking. So this guy is talking to a tree, right? So it's an epitome of loneliness, right?
Yeah.
And the tree is taunting him. So not only like Wilson was a friend, somebody he cared about. This tree is taunting him. He's realizing what a mistake his life has been.
Yeah, and he was chasing all the wrong things.
What a sad moment.
Yes. That's why the song is so good. Sad songs are arguably better.
But that's the part that I would say that you somehow pull out the imagery of that. Like you're very good at that imagery. Oh, I have Gray Street here.
My mic picks up you.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Oh.
Okay. I have. Oh, okay. So, excuse me.
Scott.
Last thing on my list. Not that we can't go other directions afterwards, but like, what do you think? So, BOPTMN, name of this.
BOPTMN.
And I would think everybody should want to try to have an optimal day.
Mm.
Right? Like what makes you feel good? What makes what makes you feel the best? What's
Sleeping.
So what is... So...
Wait, can we have an intermission?
Yeah.
Because someone said something and I really agree.
I really have to cough now.
Cough. Cough, do it.
What are you looking up?
Believe it or not, Gabby Hanna. She said something.
Weren't you just throwing shade on her?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't support her and I don't want people looking her up because she's crazy. But she said something that I was like, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I'm very interested in what this is going to be.
Did she delete it? If she deleted it, life is over.
Of course, right now. This makes for a really good podcast. 0 sound.
Okay, but I need to know. Oh, she did delete it. Oh, brat.
What was...
Okay. I think what she said, it was... Sorry, this is way too close. I slumped. Don't count that as bumping the mic. I'm readjusting. Hello? So she made a TikTok and she... Gosh. And she was like, write in the comments what makes you feel the best. Basically asking you the question that you're... Asking me the question you asked. Whatever. And she was like, pause it, write in the comments, and then come back. And then she said, what makes you feel the best is relief. And then she was like, even things as simple as being, as like having to pee so bad and getting to pee. Or, you know, or something as big as like having a really long day and going to bed and just being able to lay down and sleep. What was the question?
I don't know.
Reiterate your question.
I was starting to talk about optimal day.
Optimal day is getting relief throughout my life. Is just constantly feeling relief. Like turning in my exam for math and getting a score that I'm happy with and feeling relief and not fear or anxiety. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't know if relief is the right word. Because it feels the same, like thinking of running. I finished a long run. I have relief, it's over. But I don't feel like that's the best word to describe it. It's more like
well, that's your optimal day. I don't run.
But so optimal day and best day I think are different.
Yes.
Optimal is kind of looking more long term. Right. I mean, you could say I'd love to just stay in bed all day, but that's not gonna.
Oh, you mean like events? What would be my optimal day?
Yeah. What time would you wake up? When would you?
Enzo wants to come over. Can you come up?
Sure.
Enzo, come here.
Okay, we have a guest appearance.
Enzo, come here. Up, up, up.
You've been hearing
Enzo,
him all along. This is gonna be interesting.
Up, up, up. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, he never loves me more. Come on.
That's a microphone, Enzo.
Let him lay on you.
Oh, great, lucky me.
Well, he didn't want to lay on me.
Here you go, Enzo. Come on. Nice burp right into the... Come on, right here. Enzo. Good boy. Good puppy. I hope we got that. So what does a...
Events. Right.
How's your day? When's your day start?
Depends on if I'm going to school or not.
No.
Oh.
Are you going to school? Are you going to school on a perfect day? On an
No.
optimal day? Okay.
Wait. I take that back. Yes. And it would be specifically the days that I have sociology and then AP art.
What is it about those classes? Why do you say that?
Sociology, I get to see my boyfriend, Ethan, Cole, Jack, and it's the funnest group. Funnest? Is that a real word?
Sure. Yes.
The most fun group ever. And I love it. But I hate the class. But anyways.
Okay, so wait. So then back to the question. If it's optimal, wouldn't you rather just see them outside of school?
No.
Like if you could go see that group?
No.
Oh, why is that? What's this?
They're going to see this. Guys, I'm just antisocial. Did I say I wasn't?
I don't remember.
I did.
We all have varying degrees of different.
No, they're just better in class. It's just so much more funnier. We have something to talk about, and they're just great. There's no chance they watch this, anyways.
Well, there's that or if they watch it, they're not this far into it.
No, they definitely haven't gotten this far.
There's something about the pressures of school or whatever, I don't know, the structure of school that you're kind of in a small way rebelling against or whatever, or it sets the stage for something. I don't know. That's it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of why school matters in this scenario.
Oh, because I have fun during that day.
What if it was at a bowling alley or name other
What?
place? I don't know.
I
Okay.
hate bowling alleys. I hate the fair. I hate going out.
So
Gosh.
in your optimal day, you have to get up and go to school.
But I'd like to include I wake up and not feel drowsy.
Okay. Do you eat? Do you eat on your best days?
No.
So why don't you eat?
Because I come home at 11 o'clock, which is when I usually eat breakfast on the weekend. So I'm only hungry at 11.
Okay. But if you did eat something, would you feel worse?
No, it doesn't make that big of a deal. But then, more importantly, I go to APR and I do what I love the most.
So is there something about the structure of art?
Forcing me to do art, yes. Because I don't know if I would hold myself accountable to do art if I wasn't in a class that I needed to do it.
So what happens so you're graduating this year?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Like, how do you, so those are two things you just pointed out that are school related and school's about to end. How do you fill those voids next year?
Good question. Have to do another podcast in the summer.
No, but just what do you think? Like, how do you hold yourself accountable?
To do art?
Sure. The relationships is tough. I'm sure you could find a way.
If I wanted to, I would. There's no stopping me. Plus, no, I'm not. I can't say that.
But we do.
Say that on record.
But I think in life we do, like, relationships change and they go on and you have different relationships. And you like that set of relationships and you'll have new ones. But like,
Yes.
so art, you just said, is one of the biggest, most important, favorite things of your day and something you need, right?
Mm-mm.
If we're looking at optimal, if art isn't a part of your life, does that make you sad just thinking that? Like, if I told you art's never going to be a part of your life again, would you be sad about that?
No, because I can always fill it with other things. I don't think it's the epitome of my life. I don't think I would die without it. Enzo,
Enzo?
this is what he does when he hears
Enzo.
car noises.
No, wait. Enzo. Is that Evan? It's Evan. It's definitely Evan.
You're going to have to let him out.
Okay, baby. Okay. You want to go see?
Make sure he doesn't knock anything over.
There goes Enzo.
You're going to have to let him out. Go let him out. He's not going to stop until... Time with just me and the camera. Hello, everyone. This is the Logan podcast. I have actually nothing to say. Dad, ew.
Did that off camera.
No, you didn't.
Okay, so art isn't the most important thing in your life, but if it was missing, I mean, what could you fill that with? Like, what could
Books.
be what?
Books. Love reading.
Okay.
That's why when, Grammy recommended a book to me, I never got around to it because I was filling my life with art. I had moved on.
But there's such a different thing, like the creativeness of art and reading books.
Poetry. What, do you want me to just list off things I could do instead?
Okay. So...
I mean, it would suck.
You said you eat at 11 is when?
Yeah, I come home from school at 11. That's why it's part of my optimal day because it's over soon. Now, if I had to do a 6-hour day at school, I'd be like, not optimal.
Right. So, but you think you'd carry on at 11? Like 11 feels like a good time for you to eat like your first meal of the day?
Yes. And then from there, if I wanted a nap, I'd nap and I would let myself and I wouldn't feel guilty even though people try to make me feel guilty about it all the time.
Do you think, so I personally think like it's too long of naps can be a problem.
They are. I know they are. I felt it. I have done both. They are. Factually.
But not setting, like, do you think setting an alarm would be
No. Only because I take so long to fall asleep. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I do believe if you let's say 20 minutes, you're laying there, your eyes closed, and you're trying to fall asleep, but you don't fall asleep, and the alarm goes off. It's time to be done.
You think I've gotten enough rest?
You still got more rest than if you hadn't.
Okay, this is a Logan podcast again where Dad can't talk. I went a day of school and work, no nap. And I worked the night shift till 9:30. And then I spent time with my boyfriend till 11. I took meds to make me sleep, and I slept 2 hours that night. I spent the whole next day awake. And I even tried to nap and couldn't. And today I wanted to nap, and instead I did this. I don't nap that often, but I need to nap because I don't sleep. This man doesn't get it because he sleeps like...
But I nap. But you're right. I definitely do fall asleep quicker.
significantly quicker.
Okay. And then...
And more consistently.
How's your night? What's going on the rest of your day? What are you doing to fill the rest of your
day? So I nap for a little bit. Maybe I'll wake up and eat a snack if I'm still hungry. Because you know how you eat and you're like, let it settle and then figure out later if I'm still hungry. I do that a lot. So maybe I'll snack. But then after dinner time with family. Sometimes we go on tangents. If that happens, that's great. I love that.
I agree.
I like if they last about 2 hours. After that, I'm kind of like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Or if it just starts into an argument, then I'm like, ugh.
You just made me think, though, like, somehow you and Kaylin both have portion control that I've never been able to have. Where do you think that comes from?
You never put pressure on me to eat food. I mean, you occasionally would be like, eat your veggies, Logan. Come on now.
We always put pressure to try.
Yeah. But you never pressured me to do something I never wanted to do. You never made food a weird thing. It was always just normal. So I developed a very normal ideology around food. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I deserve any credit, but I feel like we definitely didn't say finish all the food on your plate kind of thing.
But you also didn't say, like, if I said, like, I don't know, I never felt guilty for eating too much one day and, like, stuffing my belly until I'm full and, like, it hurts. I didn't feel guilty about eating multiple times a day because I didn't eat enough during lunch. You know, I never felt guilty. I never felt anything about it. I don't know if...
Good.
I think that's what correlated to my healthy relationship with food and understanding.
Yeah.
But also you taught me, Logan, you may not feel full right now, but you just finished a whole slice of pie, and your little body's going to feel it pretty soon. Let's wait a second.
Do you notice any correlation between what you eat and how you feel afterwards? And I'm not talking about like I feel guilty that I just ate all those calories. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like
physically.
Yeah, physically.
No, but I'm not conscious of it. I don't think about it enough for like if I like paid more attention, I probably would.
Well, I mean, I guess it's probably mostly because you do actually have this somehow built-in portion control.
Yeah.
Like, even though you do, I mean, like, you have like killed a bag of, you have binged. Do you ever feel like when you have like a way too much chips? You know what I mean? Like,
love chips.
Do you ever notice that you just don't, like, afterwards you don't feel optimal? Like, it, it makes you feel
I don't know if I've ever felt optimal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. It's not something achievable. I'm aware of that. It's trying to be
optimal.
Or being aware of what does better, what doesn't do better for me. Like, and I think some of it has to be a process of elimination. Like, like for running or whatever, I'm trying this food. Oh, that didn't feel as good as when I tried this food. Oh, well, I only tried that once or twice. Let's try it a couple more times. Okay, this definitely doesn't do well for me. This does.
Yeah, right.
So this is
Remember
the better.
that time that you really, really didn't feel good during a run, and it was because of whatever.
But there's a lot of.
Ooh. Remember when you did the one with JT most recently, and you were like, "I ate this and I shouldn't have," and it really.
Right.
Anyways, I don't really remember what it was.
But you don't know what's gonna like. There's a lot of variables though.
Yeah.
In life and whatever, but like trying to like eating a whole bag of chips probably isn't the best. Like, I don't feel great afterwards.
No.
but that it happens, I don't let that get me down either. It's just being aware of what the better
but
choices
I've
are.
also learned like
Right,
more
right.
because I hate feeling. Ugh.
Right. And there's definitely foods or too many, like if I ate the bags of those donuts that we like, the
Oh
cinnamon
yeah. The one that Grampy.
I can't, you know as well as I do, you'll give me a hard time. I don't have an off switch. I don't know how, once I start, I don't have a
He
good.
does it subconsciously too. Subconsciously.
Oh, I'm well aware of it.
Nope.
I know.
Sometimes it's subconsciously because I know it because he doesn't realize it.
Oh, I'm aware of it. I beat myself up out of it. You're wrong.
Subconscious.
But I feel like crap afterwards. I know I shouldn't. And my belly feels upset and I have another one because my belly's upset. And I feel like, it's like, my brain's like, it'll feel better if you have more sugar. It's like, I know I won't, but I'm going to try it anyways.
Silly goober, that won't make you feel better.
Okay, so when's an optimal time for Logan to go to bed? Because this is probably the hardest question for you.
When I'd want to go to bed?
Yeah, what yeah.
Like 10. 10 would be optimal, right? Because 7, 8, 9 hours. Right?
Are you saying that because you heard some number that how many hours sleep you should have?
Mm-mm. I just know after a good 9 hours of sleep, I'm feeling pretty good.
To me, 9 seems like way too much.
For you, maybe.
It seems like a lot. Have you ever like slept really long and just felt like, oh, now it's like hard to get going?
Yes, but I think it's also different for me because I never, if I set everything down at 10 and I go to bed, I'm not going to sleep for a long time. So I don't think I ever would know what would be the optimal amount of hours to sleep.
Right. And I would guess an optimal day, somehow you fall asleep quick.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can correlate to, like, when this happens, I fall asleep quick?
Mom's drugs.
Anything besides that?
Anything besides medicine?
Yeah.
When I'm so beyond exhausted, I fall asleep faster.
And the reason you can't, but sometimes you're so tired you can't fall asleep too, right?
I want to talk about this.
Yeah, please do.
I don't think people get it. It hurts. Like, I don't know. Okay, so like imagine you're so tired and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep, and you go to sleep. But I don't. My whole body aches and hurts because of how tired it is, and my brain won't let me sleep. So not fair, right? I mean, it's so painful that like
when you can't fall asleep, what's in your head? Like, how would you describe that? Because I think I know, but I want to hear what you...
I mean, usually I'm just thinking about things.
Right. So Quentin, that was on my podcast a little while ago, talked about meditation. And I don't know if that's something
I've tried.
And I don't know enough about it, but he talked about
I've also
like...
tried hypnotic sleep.
Well, so so you tried meditation, but how would you describe what you did? What was the process?
I don't know, like, girl, I YouTubed it. They just took me through steps. I don't know, made me do some things. Definitely breathing was part of it.
Well, I think I told you the way Quentin described it, which he said he sits there for 10 minutes and thoughts come into his head and he purposely lets them go. And thoughts come in his head and he purposely lets them go. Which I don't think I think it's if there's something you probably aren't able to do.
No.
That sounds like it's something you're not very good at.
I don't think it's something I can achieve.
Well, like any meditation is called a practice, like yoga, right? Practice.
Is everyone liking this podcast? Have we started to bore you?
Well, I wonder, maybe, but I don't care. But I'm wondering, and we're getting close to the end. But I think so.
Can they hear me from back here?
Yeah, but not as well.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if you practiced kind of, so when Kaylin describes falling asleep, Kaylin's our professional sleeper, right? Yes. I think I'm a very good sleeper. I'm not on Kaylin's level. She can just fall asleep on a whim, right? But her and I both kind of describe as like, I just shut my brain off and go to sleep. Like I stop thinking about things. And that's something you can't do. I wonder if you could practice meditation in the way Quentin describes it, where you're sitting there and you're purposely just Liam pops in your head. I'm gonna let it go for now. And you're just thinking of emptiness, and you're doing this. I wonder if you could get better at that kind of shutting
I
your brain
tried
off.
to do it for a whole year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when I was into all that crystal stuff and I thought it would cure me?
Yeah, sure.
No, it doesn't. It's a lie. What is it called when people do it for money?
A scam.
Scam. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, there could be some placebo effect, right? And that's what.
Yeah, but I also would like really, really, really meditate, where I would like try, but like
Right.
I'd always get distracted, so I gave up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if enough about meditation. It's something I want to try, but I don't know if I need it. But anything you're into that you like talking about, that you would like to talk about? Anything?
Not
The
just put
floor
me
is
on the
yours.
spot.
Anything you're into right now that's new or?
Where's Dad? Right here.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't hear that, and that was just a random comment.
Yeah.
Something I'm into right now is, you know what? Cleaning my room. That you made a mess of.
I will pick up the parts I've just moved.
I don't know. I can't. You put me on the spot,
Okay.
Dad.
Anything that like you wish people knew about you that they don't understand?
From your side of the family?
Anybody.
Well, I think
Excuse me.
Mom's side of the family understands you more than yours.
Okay.
But I don't think... I think it's just because of the amount of time I've spent individually with each part of Mom's side of the family. Versus your huge family on the other side.
Not include Molly. Does Molly understand you?
No. Yes.
There's different levels of understanding. Right.
Yeah.
On different subjects and different things. And what are those important things that like their side of the family knows about you that my side doesn't?
I think
Then
just the more intimate stuff about me, like the real stuff. I feel like when I'm at like a party, the Pelletier party or the Curtis party, whatever, it's more of like I'm putting on a front and just...
Surface level.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas like Uncle Roll...
I wonder if that's a product of more because of the smaller size and longer periods of time, there's more chances to get away and be one-on-one with somebody.
Also, their mom's side of the family is very open. Which I think that side of the family is very closed off and quiet. I picture them as like quiet little, like...
I think of them...
What's the book? Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
That's the vibes they give me. Is that mean?
I wonder. I totally get what you're saying, and
I meant that in a respectful way.
no, that has nothing to do with not loving them or caring about
Oh, I
them.
love that side of the family.
But I wonder if they think a lot of the way that we think. You and I have similar thoughts on small talk and stuff like that, and even though I think they're more engaging in it, I wonder if they're not like.
And they're bored of it too.
And it's just hard to get. It's hard in a group like that to like. Let's go talk one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like.
I mean, Grammy and Jackie did it while I was listening in.
Right.
They had a cool conversation.
And I'm very interested in your. I really want to go to Deer. I want to take you to Deer Isle. I want this.
Yeah, but I thought it was gonna happen during Christmas.
Whenever. I don't know. We have to just call Jackie and set a date.
Oh, I thought it was already set.
If it is, I'm unaware.
Mom knows.
I think you'll have a different perspective of Jackie afterwards. I mean, it's kind of unavoidable.
I learned so much about her this year, which was insane. But
right, and David, like how creative he is in his art, like
yes, his what was it called?
Picasso?
Yes.
No, mosaics.
Yes, mosaics.
Like an extremely creative person, you never know. Kind of looking, yeah. I don't know. Interesting stuff.
I just muted myself.
Okay, that's the sneeze button. All right. Well, thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, is it over?
I don't know. Do you want it to be over?
Yeah.
I just want to say, like...
I should be back on again, though.
Are you on?
No, I mean back on your podcast again.
Yeah, I feel like this one was very kind of just all over the place.
Emo.
I would definitely like to do this when we have more specific things and thought of. But I love talking to you. I enjoy
love talking to you.
We
Did it go red? Sorry.
I think we have a great relationship, and
We do.
it's fun talking to you. And I wonder what the comments will say.
Oh, please comment. I love interacting.
Yeah. What do you want to know more about Logan? What do you want Logan to grill me on?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
We should do this. We should do it the opposite, like where you
Grill you?
Yeah. I feel like I'm way more boring than you, though.
I'm so much more interesting than
I
you.
agree. But I'm very interested. The thing I will, I mean, it's just cool to sit down with my daughter and pick your mind. But a lot of what we talked about, I kind of already knew most of the answers to, or a lot
You know
of
what's
it.
interesting?
Go ahead.
The fact that you just said daughter.
What should I say?
I've never really think about it.
As opposed to father.
No, I just think of you as like a friend.
Yeah.
I forget that sometimes I'm your daughter and that like you've seen me through all my years.
I think that's a good thing. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just my bestie.
I don't know if I don't think that's true. I think Liam is, or
One of, yeah, but you're my bestie for the rest of you. What?
right.
Come on.
No, I know.
Come on.
Yeah. I'm lucky to have you as a daughter, though.
I know.
Daughter. Emphasis. Daughter.
Father.
Love you,
Fist
baby.
bump. I love fist bumping.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, bye everyone. I didn't know we said bye.
I don't know.
Cool. Thank you for joining the Logan podcast. Be optimal. Have a great day.
And we're out.
Cut the cameras. They're not cut yet.
Any idea?